My thoughts have never been clearer. I see what you're doing to me now. They lie, they steal, they fool us. Deep down I probably knew that. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger. Love is blind and no one's perfect. Platinum seems so shallow, 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 shallow. But you are bright white gold. They made us lose our focus. The very same hands that formed us. Go build a better tomorrow. For you, I'd make it a rainbow. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger. Love is blind and no one's perfect. Platinum seems so shallow, 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 shallow. But you are bright white gold.
All right, everybody. Hello, friends. It is Tuesday, and the weekend went quick, and I don't know where Monday went. All right, everybody. And I've got a little bit of a, I had my YouTube up there. It's good to see you guys, and thank you for joining us. John's going to be on here in a minute, my good buddy, and we're going to talk a little bit. So tonight, we're just going to get in a little bit of the ears, and I call them the precious ears. And the reason I do, and I think John would agree, but as a musician of over 20 years, a drummer, I can tell you how precious hearing is. I have lost a little bit of my hearing in my left ear, which is where my floor monitor sat for nearly 20 years gigging. And those are very loud. So it's a speaker in your ear for night after night. Years ago, not too long, well, about 5-6 years ago, I went full-time in ear monitors. Which is a godsend, and I wish I had done it maybe 15 to 20 years ago, mostly because I'll pronounce it wrong, but tinnitus, which I do have a little bit of it in my ear, is actually from the cymbals, and that would have been nice to keep out of my ears. So I will say this, that they are precious, and it is important that we know and understand what we're doing with our ears beyond even the streaming and how to protect them. And we can get into that a little bit, because there are some things that we may do on accident while we're streaming and testing that can really send a shock into our ears. I'm sure we've all probably had that happen. And so I want to keep that at bay. But you know, what we're going to do is talk a little bit about this monitoring and the options that we have. And I've got, you probably can't see it great, but I've got a little bit of a setup here of all the different, a few different options. Got some stuff. We'll get into that, but I'm going to bring in John first, see how he's doing, and say hello, and then we'll get with you guys in chat. And I see people crawling in here, and we'll say hi. So let's bring in John.
Yo, yo, yo. How we doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you? It's been a while.
Oh, it's been a great day. I've been having a busy week. We haven't talked this much week, but
no.
You know, kind of what we do after the show usually. Do you know what that would be? After we're done with the show, no one knows this, but you and I, what usually happens and transpires after the show?
We have that after show thing where we maybe spend as long talking after the show as we do during the stream, which is a little bit insanity, but we can't help ourselves, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that today.
No, me either. It's all right. You know, we really enjoy what we do. So.
Oh no, we got to catch up, but because you know I've been busy this week, and we've been working on so many other things outside of the stream that makes the stream better, right? But we haven't been able to get together this week and talk about what we've been doing. So I missed that, but
Yeah.
we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's kind of part of it, like where you go in these peaks and valleys with anything, And I think there's times where life just gets in the way and you start to whatever. And I think those natural little breaks are healthy and it gives you energy to come back. And yeah, I think tonight we have a nice little stream. We bring all of our people in. We have a little chatty going on, and we don't have to go crazy and have a marathon tonight. I think we just have a nice little discussion. And I think the summer is just that way, right? We don't want to.
Well, I don't care about talking. I don't care about talking late. What we usually do is we end up talking like 2 hours after we go 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a fact. I mean, he's not wrong. And then we're like, hey, we got to go. I got to get some sleep. Then a half hour later, right?
Yes, exactly. That's it. That happens twice. So that goes like an extra hour.
It really does.
So yeah, that's the way it usually goes, unfortunately.
Yeah. And we enjoy that. And we will do that again. But I think get our sleep on, kind of, maybe we just kind of turn human for a little while. But we'll go back and forth where we have nights like that. But yeah, tonight might not be that. That's fine with me.
Awesome.
So go ahead. What have you been up to over the weekend, quick?
So it was my son's official birthday this weekend. He was 10 years old. So we went to New York City, passed right by B&H. But as we know, if you know anything about B&H, it is closed on Saturdays until they reopen everything at 9:30 at night, I believe it is.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. Because they're Jewish, so they close
that's right. Sure.
on Saturday. And so we weren't able to stop in, but we walked past and we had a great day. We went to the M&M store, got some M&Ms, took a walk around, and then he officially has a couple birthday parties he's doing at these sky zones where they jump around all over the place, and that's going to be happening soon. So
imagine the summer, the summer just comes on us like it seems forever, and then it comes on us like that, and then you're like, oh my God, this is going so fast.
Oh yeah.
Already
we always make the joke that once July 4th hits, it's like summer's over. But
it's sadly not a joke. And somebody posted today something from Costco where they're doing back to school stuff already. So it's just a weird setup. But yeah, I feel like that too. When you get to July 4, it's just something that's kind of shifts and you're like, summer over? What's going on with that? It's kind of strange, but yeah, well, that's great. Well, so he's out of the single digits and now here he is. He's pushing towards the preteens. That's
he's 5 foot tall. He's just finished his last soccer game, but otherwise, we had a good time, and it was a beautiful weekend here. So we've been getting some strong wind and storms, but it was nice.
Yeah, we've had some great weather, and then we kicked off the Lake Michigan because we're like a mile or so off of Lake Michigan, and that can chill you out like 15 degrees quick. You'd be like 80, and then you're like, oh, it's 65. What happened? And I had a sweatshirt on this afternoon outside. I'm like, oh, come on, man. It's just ridiculous. So let's see what's going on here. I see mommy's in the house. Lala. See y'all. Nice topic again today. It's so nice to see you. Yes. And we're going to jump on this topic in a second. And I did see that Derp was here, which is fantastic. And I know last time we saw him, he was, I don't know, he was chilling. He was doing something and then he had to go to bed.
Yeah. He did a stream is what he did.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He was doing a stream, in fact. And then, I did ask a little bit about
that's right.
people's thing. And he's his headsets are the ones that are comfortable and don't break in a week. And those are a godsend to find. We'll have that discussion. And of course, we have to say hello to Marlene. How are you doing? Mom. Fantastic to see you. And Brian Paul, our good friend who wants to talk about children in the sky zone. And he has a son, I believe. I don't know if he's your son's age. I feel like he's around that age though. And if I'm not mistaken.
Well, if he's going the sky zone, probably. And so, and that tires him out. And if you have a boy, you know that they have boundless energy. The girls want to sit down and talk and this and that once in a while. And the boys, they just want to run around and they can't pay attention and they just go nuts.
Yeah, and they just ramp up, and it's just like, well, let's feed them more sugar. Let's get them out there in the zone. Let's do some stuff, and then if you're an adult, then you're just going to have pulled muscles and
right, exactly.
Brian just mentioned, by the way, he's 8. Okay, so he's a little younger.
Yeah,
in that
zone, in the zone.
in that zone, in the zone. And,
Can you
yes.
smell?
So yeah, so Derp had a couple inches of rain in about 4 hours. So we need rain bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. We are desperately dry here. We're on guard for some fires, so we're really, really, really dry.
Yeah, we just had some like heavy rains, and then we had a beautiful rainbow yesterday. So we all ran outside, like like you always see those people looking at rainbows.
Yeah, and did you get the pot of gold? Oh, it's over there. It's over there.
It was only like 3 houses away. So I threw
3 houses away.
I threw that short guy right off the gold and took it for myself.
Oh man, look who's here! She graced us.
Yeah, she follows me everywhere.
Does she? Does she follow you, or does she follow up after you everywhere? Because there's a difference.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and I have one of those. I have somebody who follows behind either the trash can or a.
Yeah, my boss doesn't like it. Jesus.
I got you. All right.
Jesus is my boss.
I know. It's not Jesus. So let's talk about the ears. And this is a subject, I want to talk about it. We don't need to get into this isn't one of those things where I'm like, let's just get into every frequency and ohm. And that's not really what this is about. I just wanted to touch base.
Oh God.
There were some things going on.
5 hours of studying.
Yes, I did 5 hours of studying.
No, me.
Today. Oh, you did?
No, I didn't.
I doubt that. You know what? I think, look, this is kind of a basic thing. And I want to know what people are doing. And if somebody is here that maybe got wind of something that they didn't think about as they go through their checklist for their ears, then, that's great. There's been a lot of questions in our groups about it lately. And it's something that I always want to touch on. So, let's just start with us. You go back and forth. I stick to in-ears. I call them cans, but I don't use the full headsets.
Yeah, well,
right here,
How long we've been streaming, Jeff? I know I always say this, but
oh God, we've been streaming for, was it 4 years? No, it's probably been about 4 or 5 weeks for me, and about maybe 6-7 weeks for you, or
something like that. So
not long. Really,
what I found out is my little regular steel case headset that I've been using, I just listen to them mainly to not drive everybody else nuts in the house as I'm sitting and editing or whatever,
Yeah.
So I wore them a couple times when we did a stream and when I did my first couple of streams myself. And I was like, my friend first busted my chops, Chris. He was like, oh, what are you, landing a jet airplane or something? Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a best on me. But
you got feelings too, John.
By the way, we might not see him tonight, but I don't know if you can take a look at this shirt, by the way. Can you see the back?
Let's get hooked. Oh yeah, look at that.
Do you know what that is?
Is that I know the guy's channel. What's his channel again? Right?
Circle Hook.
I couldn't remember. Circle Hook Productions. Very nice. I like my eyes are so, even with glasses.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I had to get it.
If we did this, it'd be better.
Yeah, right there.
Look at that. That's lovely. That's really nice.
I had to get it because basically he bought me my first coffee ever. So, and I was very impressed with that. And I was like, why not? It's pretty cool. But anyway, let me not get off the beaten path here. So my ears were so hot in those, wearing them for the streams and everything. I was like, I got to find some in-ear things. And I've been wanting to get them, but I just didn't want to spend a ton of money. And so I did a little research, and there were 3 or 4 different ones out there. I think the KZs, and these are the K Bears, and they're all like
the KZs. You have the K Bears. I remember that. Yeah.
Right, and they're really popular, and they're really good for the money. And they're between $25 and $30 each, or $35. And the one thing because I'm always thinking about the YouTubers and the streamers, the people like us that we didn't think about these things. And the main thing is, it's not the heat. It's not that it looks cool that you can't see them and everything. It's actually when I was editing, I noticed a huge difference the way, I would have a thought of how I wanted things to sound, and they wouldn't always come out in my video I wish the music was a little bit higher when I did this, or I wish this was a little bit more, or I thought the EQ would sound a little different. And then when I was wearing these more, that I noticed that the things that I wanted to happen in my editing sound wise were spot on. A lot like these aren't like top notch or anything, but it made a difference. So that's the one thing for me.
Yeah, that, and that's in the editing mode, and that can be for live issue too. And this is something that I feel is not discussed enough as people are like, well, this mic and this, and it's like, okay, you're talking about the input, but a lot of people don't realize what you're hearing, guys, in your ears could be colored by the frequency response of the ear types, of the bleed of the can. Do you have open backs? There's so many things that go into that. Or are you EQing even maybe through a filter? So you may lose sight of what you're actually putting out there and what's really happening. I mean, in the perfect world, your best bet is to have, if you're editing, your best way to do it would be to have a flat response monitors, right? External monitors to do that in the right presence. That would be the way that most mixers and masters of records would do it, because that's your best chance. Now, the joke of all that is anybody that's ever mastered a record, even the big guys, the joke of it is for years and years and years, what they would do is they would take that thing, and yes, they would do it that way, but they would go to a car and they would ride around in cars to listen to it. And the reason being, like we change our presence with different types of ears, that people mostly listened or often listened in their car on commutes or travel. And that was kind of the way they did it. So they wanted to make sure in a car you were getting that same clarity.
Right.
Because to your point, you could have the greatest clear mic in the world, but you may have a very bassy headphone.
Right.
And so you may not be, you're like, oh, it sounds great in my head. Why doesn't it sound great in the final stream or in the editing, as you were saying? So that's why it becomes a little bit of a,
so they got to do it for the majority of people. And if the majority of the people are listening to something in the car, then that makes sense, right?
Well, and now the issue is more and more people are actually listening through music through their ears, and that changes things, and they're listening to music that's streaming, so that's compressed, and so that changes things. So it's been a real weird evolution of things. I want to catch up on Brian here. My Shure 215s stopped working. I check it out and the tube is filled with wax. Toss them in. No. Oh, so you have the SE 215s? I have the SE 315s I use for drumming. I think you have the SE 215s, but they have a wax cleaner. They should come with them. There's actually ones you can buy that you go in and you can scoop the wax. You pop the tip off, and you can actually change those tips out. If that's an SE 215, you can change those tips. I believe you can replace them. So don't throw them out. They're at least $99, I believe, the 215s. If that's yes, it's a 215. So they're they're like my SE 315s. Now these are a little bit beefier, and they have a little bit more low end, which I want for drumming. I want a little more kick presence, but you wouldn't want this when you're doing mostly audio or singing. You want more clarity, so you're going to want to drop that bass. So yeah, I mean, it's gone too far.
He's saying they're done.
Yeah, maybe it's time. At $99, depending on the old and how far gone they are. I've had mine forever and countless gigs, but I've had to go in there and clean out the wax. No matter how much you do, won't clean your ears. It just happens. They sweat in there. And so I hear you, man. I'm sorry to hear that they're gone. Zan wanted to stop in and say hi to the two great gentlemen. Well, when they show up, Zan, we will let them say hi back. No, I'm just kidding.
Zan the
man. I tell you what.
How are you, Zan?
I checked out his vids.
Did I tell you or what?
That guy he's got a thing going on there, right?
Yep.
So if you want to feel good about yourself and really get some positivity and see it with a smile that's genuine, head over to Zan the man. I'm not kidding you. That guy is. That's
the he caught me right with we met in the stream, and then I saw his face, and how can you not want to go check this guy out with the smile, right? So I go in there and I go and hit some of the videos, and all of a sudden he's talking. He's got this energy, and he's psyched about where he's going. I think this is something that he's been wanting to do as far as a YouTube channel, and now he's out there and he's doing it. He's just like us, where we're so pumped, right? Sometimes we're so happy. We're like, we love when people send us messages. Like I get a message from Ireland about some guy that I helped do something. It just, it sets me back. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
So
if it isn't high, like this, just stopping and saying hi sets us off, gives us energy. But if it isn't that, or somebody like you say, dropping notes saying, "Hey, your advice really mattered to me,"
yeah.
no matter how small it is, that is everything.
But even for us, Jeff, right? Like we're just starting to stream. And so if Zan just comes in and says,
Right.
how you guys doing? I want to say hi, and bring some positive energy in. And if he can't watch it, whatever, but he does that, that's a huge plus, and we love that. So we appreciate that too.
Yeah, it absolutely is to have them come in, say hi, and I love that energy. Like you say, if it's just a minute to say hi, that's pretty much all we need to kind of feel
Yeah.
good about ourselves and what we're trying to do for everybody. I did want to back up. I got a couple people coming in, but I want to. Can somebody? Do you know what he's saying here?
Oh, he says not ear related, but somehow the Zingu mic has
Oh,
broken. Just stop working. Well, what? Well, that's not gonna be that's not gonna
that's
be good.
probably not going to be an easy fix, and I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's not fun.
I definitely would reach out to them because they're
I would
pretty
too.
decent
Yeah.
and it's pretty new. And even if the warranty's up, you might want to just let them know and just double check. Double check. It's not like a simple thing like the cord.
Yeah, and sometimes it is just a simple thing, and yeah, if you haven't checked the cord, believe me, I've thrown away many cords. It's amazing how the cords will actually go on you. And before we get too deeper, anybody that's still here, even if you're going to leave, do drop in the comments for me, please. Just let me know. Like, do you use earbuds? Do you use in-ear monitors to monitor your audio? Do you use headphone cans? Do you use Bluetooth earbuds, which I'm going to get into in a minute and have that discussion, just because it will help me figure out, as it's a kind of an ugly poll, but I actually do want to know what's going on. And Samantha's in the house.
I
And
want to thank Samantha because just before I was about to jump on this stream, first, I want to thank her because I listened to the rest of her stream from last week today.
okay.
And there was some really nice comments that she made about me and a few other people that have helped her along the way. So I want to thank her for those kind words. And she also bought me a coffee. So
Fantastic.
yeah. And I was like, just before I got on here, I was like, that's my third time someone bought me a coffee. And it was like, really touched my heart. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yes, and it turns
special.
out John just loves coffee. So it kind of works out. Like, she bought you a coffee, you love coffee. Yeah. And this seems relevant. Our guy, Steve Worthy, who we both really enjoy. We say both, but then there's this little nugget. What's going on, my favorite dude on YouTube, John?
What's going on?
Dude? I don't know, man. I don't know who he is. Subscribe to him now. Make him feel he's just a little engine that could over on YouTube. Give me a little poke, a little sub. I could use subs. John could use subs. But yeah. I know you. I know you do, Steve. And man, I tell you what, I can't miss again how much work you're really doing.
Right.
And the effort you're putting out, because every day it just seems like you're putting that energy out there. And man, that is, and it affects us, because when I see that, I have my moments. John has his moments where we'll get vulnerable, because I think we just get tired and then you get vulnerable. Right. But then when you see somebody, going out there and hit the pavement, you're like, yeah, okay.
Well, plus I always appreciate when I see people clawing, to get somewhere. And so he's out there doing the work, because constantly I'll watch people talk about, well, how can I get here? How can I get there? Right. And without trying to be insulting, it's the comments that people get answered back to them are like, you just started. Like, learn how to edit, learn how to record, learn how to use your camera. And that takes years. And so for us to that's why, when people see Steve or any of the people that are working hard and say they've only been going for a while with YouTube, and you can look back 6 months and see that improvement, that person's been working their tail off.
Yeah, that's true. And we've seen it with Steve. I mean, he was kind of working things before we were in that program, Lita, but man, he's just kept going and really clawing at it since then. I just total respect. And you know what, Samantha, I can be your Uncle Jeff. I don't know if that's weird, but I mean, if you can call that
she's
dude,
calling me dad.
You could call that dude dad. Come on. Or I could call me cousin. I don't care.
Well,
even, we don't all like our cousins, but
she's part of the fam no matter
I
what.
know
So
she's right. Yeah. And so yeah, I know you love us, man. I
thank
take it
you.
I take it with the
Love
spirit.
you too.
Know that. So Brian, yes, you're right. This is becoming the shit breaks live stream.
That's it, man.
Let's see. We lost an SE 215 and then a Zing. So, it's just, it is what it is.
Stuff breaks. You got to figure out why it broke and why you shouldn't buy it again and why we shouldn't waste our money on certain things. And
well, I'm sorry I couldn't help with the mic, and I'm sorry I couldn't save the 215s. I'm kind of shocked because I've saved my 315s by cleaning them out. Are you sure they're too far gone, Brian, or is this you just want to get some new nice stuff? And
right, that's always no, they're gone. I told my wife they're gone.
She might be watching. I doubt it, but they're gone, sir. They are never going to go again.
Oh, I want the BT 990s.
So I do. Let's just look. So I see talking here, like Zan's saying that right now he uses his iPhone to record. So I'm sure I will need to upgrade my camera. Can I ask what you guys are using? Go ahead. Tell them what you're using.
Okay. So Zan, these are not things that you have to use by any means. My wife was a photographer and I had to replace her old camera with another full frame. So the camera that is facing me is a Canon EOS R. And I also have two other cameras. I have a side view, and this is right here, the Sony ZV-1. And I also have, and you can see my Canon right in front of me, and this is what a 24 to 70 millimeter zoom. And in the rear, I have a Canon M50 Mark II with a Sigma 16 millimeter lens. And the Mark II is a great camera. You have the interchangeable lens. You have the fact that it's got a clean HDMI to be able to live stream. And it is one of the most cost-effective cameras that you can buy. And I think along with these few cameras that are here, another one that Jeff and I really recommend is the Sony 6400.
Yeah, that's coming my way here. And just so you know, I'm using the predecessor to that, which would be the Sony A5100, and I think it does great for streaming. And it's okay for recording, but there's some issues with that, and I would definitely start with the 6400 if you could. But John,
comes down to dollars and cents, right, Jeff? Like when someone says, I'm maxed out at 700, that's an easy answer. If I'm maxed out at 1,000, okay, then you got a couple more things. And then we can help you. So Zan, if you need any help or direction, reach out and we have no problem to talk and go over some of the things that you might not get and might get with each cameras at certain price points.
Absolutely. And John's dead on. It comes down to you have to sadly say, what's my price threshold? And then that will get you a known quantity. And in this case, he's right. The cameras, you're kind of at that 700 and below gets you a certain thing, and then about 1,000 below. And then you start getting into a whole nother world, which probably is almost not worth getting into. Like for most people, then you might as well just wait till you can get another level. So he's right. Just reach out anytime, either one of us or both of us, and find us. We'd love to have that discussion.
Yeah, I love talking about cameras, so that's not a problem.
No, and tonight's mic night, but it doesn't matter. Like headphone night, you can drop things on mic. We don't care here. We're not here to be your parents. Come on, we're here to talk about tech. So we will get back to our headphones here in a minute. It's not a problem. So if you want to talk about a camera or anything, don't ever hesitate to come on in and whatever. So Steve Worthy, I also had the self-discipline to stay under $50 with some BASN. I can't read. B Singer. They are amazing. Okay. Yes, staying disciplined with this stuff is a good idea. I try to do that as much as possible. And then for the few things that maybe you want to reach out a little bit more on cost or whatever to take that leap on some tech, I think it's worth it.
So these are the BSA and BMaster triples.
Yeah.
These are like the $100 ones, but these are the ones that I am currently using right here. And I actually have them in purple. And so these are sold out right now, but I spent $25 on these. And I think this is kind of in the realm of yours, Jeff, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
those are the ones I have, the KZM Pros.
Yeah. And these are
Um,
great also.
They
Do
are.
these come with the in-ear pieces too? Because I know some of them have
Yes.
separate. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're really clear. And I compare them down to, I was going to get into like, so the 315s, they're under $300, but they're made for generally drummers and musicians that like low end, maybe bass players. And they have some punch. You don't need this this is a little overkill for what we're doing. And then I have some West Tone Pros, or what's called West Tone Pro 20s. They're an AM. They're an ambient, and they allow like a certain percentage of bleed to come through. So certain singers or musicians, like I was getting tired of being totally choked off from the audience or other band members. So you can choose what ambient bleed to get through, so you can hear some vocals, or just not, or you can feel you're a little more immersed into the room instead of being locked into your own.
Kind of like whether or not you hear street noise or not. So you're getting something in from the side. So this way you don't have to feel like you said, because wouldn't that have to do with also like if it's nice to know, right, what it sounds like if the beat changes a little faster or slower too, or something?
That doesn't bother me because that's coming through my ears. I have everybody's mix, right? So I hear like you guys hear on record. The beautiful thing about these now is we have a studio mix, and we actually on our phones now can mix our own ears. So now instead of having a sound guy say, how much guitar do you want? How much? I go through and say, I need a little more guitar, I need a little more vocal. I can pseudo mix, and it's done on the phones. It's connected to the soundboard now.
That's awesome.
So it's beautiful. Or some guys have tablets and they sit up, but I lock mine onto a stand, and I can just slide up and down what I want. I can change buses. I can do also. Now you got to be careful because you can get locked into that and you start to lose focus of playing. So you generally want to be locked in, but we don't have to spend 15 years at a sound check now for some of this stuff for the guitar guy to figure it out, right? Because it's always the guitar guy. What it does do though, I play a lot of percussion gigs, and it allows me to hear a little more of the natural tone of my hand percussion, which I enjoy more. Now in a loud drumming gig, I'll close myself off. So it just depends on what kind of room and what kind of situation. I mean, it could be interesting for somebody to use those for streaming if they want a little bit more presence and they don't want to feel claustrophobic, because some people do. How you doing, Ash? It's so good to see you. Ash is coming out, and I see Sammy's around. He's poking around. Sammy, it's been a while, Sammy. Feels like forever.
He's been busy.
I know.
He's putting together a little book on eCam.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's putting a little something together. And
did you do one with? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying. I said hi to him, I think yesterday. So I just popped in there. Said, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?"
I want to request though, Sammy, when you do this book, that there's pop-outs and maybe a lot of pictures, if you could, because I just want that. That's okay. I did ask people what they're using for monitors, and Brian. Yeah, this is interesting. So Brian's using $100 Sony closed-back cans, and I want to get into that.
This camera.
For
look at my camera loves that. One of these lights in the background.
Usually it's me that's better than that. Now it's you.
I got these. Yeah, I think it's picking up. This guy.
Remember we had that issue. I got rid of that guy. These cans are super flat, uninteresting to listen to music or whatever. I have the Warfadale 6-inch powered monitors from home. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. First of all, $100 is the right price range. I know which ones you're looking at because that was recommended to me too from a guy who does mixing and mastering. And it is important. Again, we're getting back to that. I think if you're going to mix and master, the best way to do it is, again, using your powered monitors. Not everybody has them. So, or if you're on the fly, that's fine. That's the best way. That's not the only way. And you want them flat, and that's, I'm sure, what you have. And then to get back to these, people should probably get, if they really want, again, it depends on how much you want to take it forward. But for editing, I would suggest getting a super flat frequency response headset. Now, you and I have talked quite often about the Biodynamic DT990 Pros. I may dip into those. Now, the problem is they're open back, and I'm not exactly sure I want to go with that for my my mixing and mastering. They have a nice flat, but the Biodynamic makes some other in those range that might be good. Like the 770s could be okay.
I just hear so many amazing things. Like
Yeah.
people basically say that thing they could sell them for $250 and they'd be worth it. And you could pick them up, I
Yeah.
think, for about 160 right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
They're fantastic. And yeah, I think that Sony, when you have two, Brian, is actually recommended. But anyway, if you don't realize, if anybody stepped in here, yes, if you're going to do editing, whether you're using in-ear monitors or external monitors or headphones, you want the most flat response you can get to listen back and to see what's happening.
Yeah.
If you start colorizing either through an EQ and listening to that first, or you've got headsets. I mean, there's things too with these. These will tend to increase your bass. So as you tighten up your ears, either through these or with really firm head cans, it's going to increase unnaturally the bass, and that could be a good thing. So as Brian says, they're not interesting to listen to music. Well, if you're really flat, it's probably not going to be great to listen to music, right, Joe?
Right. Well, I have the JBLs too, and they're kind of bright, so they're not really flat, but they're great to listen to music. But I kind of like that they are that way, because this way I can have a little bit of the best of both worlds. And so I kind of like that. But going back to like when I'm editing, and this is something that you'll learn. Like I picked out a song and it was playing, and there was like this annoying little chime in the song, and it kept on hitting, and I didn't notice it when I had my headphones on. And then I watched the video and I'm like, it's kind of annoying, but not horrible. And then of course somebody commented in the comments that this annoying chime sound in the background of the song. And it was kind of annoying. And those are the kinds of things, like if you have something proper when you're editing, if you're, if you need that little extra to make sure you're hearing the right amount. I mean, I could have turned, the thing is, like, you don't notice it, so much. And then by the time you're done and you listen to it on YouTube, it's a lot different than listening onto it in your earphones or on your speakers. So.
Yeah, and Steve talks about the M50X from Audio. That's a great that's a great set right there. That's well recommended for listening, and I think that falls into that same range of like $150. But yeah, that's comes highly recommended for monitoring. So you got good taste. And again, what I like about your taste in those, besides being wonderful headphones, it's a good price to live in. It's not overpaying. You see too many people want to jump out, and they're going to go out and get the Sennheisers, and they're going to spend, the 800s or 880s, and they're going to spend, too much money. I think the 880s are still under $200, but you can get too far with this audio stuff, and it's not really worth it, especially if you're getting into stuff that's going to get a little compressed audibly. So I don't know that it's worth it.
Where'd you go, by the way? I'm
sorry, man. I totally.
I'm all about. Me. I'm all about getting the best bang for the dollar. So,
Yeah.
It's not about spending the most. It's about something that's really cost effective. And I noticed that Sammy, of course, mentioned that my mic is different. Do you notice it today? Did you notice yourself at all?
I saw it. Yeah.
So this is the Rode. This is the Rode NT1 today. So. Yeah,
I noticed it. I'm trying to decide how I feel about it. If it's I really like you on the MXL.
Yeah.
But
this is with no oral exciter and no big bottom on the Rode. So this is, limited processing. I do have a compressor on it though.
I mean, it feels good. It sounds really good. And I just want to get back here. Yeah,
those are really good.
Yeah, I dig them. I think they're not too boomy. They've got really nice, I think, presence and articulation. I dig them. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to be one of your best bang for your bucks right there.
I think they're $40 in that range, some $40. I think that's a great bang for your buck. And I can tell you they're road tested. I've used them for gigs as well. They're just, so you can really beat them up. And they're great. And you're right, Steve, Ash has great content.
Yeah, we got a good community here. We got Zan the Man stopping in. We got Brian Paul. We got Ash. We got Samantha and just people popping in and saying hi. And we love these people. And that's the kind of vibes we're putting out. And that's the kind of vibes we want back. So we love you guys.
I think Derp fixed his mic, but I think earlier in here, I saw him say something about it was a miracle that he, I swear to God, I swear to God, he said it. Now I can't find it. They need a search function anywhere I can just search up people. But yeah, somewhere in there he had mentioned that he fixed it. It was a miracle, but got to go. Wish you're hearing luck. Thanks for stopping in, Dirk. Appreciate so much. And
Yeah, thanks for stopping in. Sometimes it's always just a little unplug and then a plug back in. Always do that with your stuff, USB and just unplug it, plug it back in, let it reset, restart your computer. I'll be like the person on the other end of the phone when your modem goes out. Did you restart the modem?
Just unplug it. It'll be fine. Restart it. John, have you ever used, and anybody here really spend any time with the open back headphones?
Now, I have not. And this is out of my realm. This is not something that I'm not into, music where I'm mixing music and putting things together really. And this is why for me, it was all about just editing videos and then having something that wasn't going to be too hot on my head as I'm listening. So for me, this is not about the same thing as it is for you.
It's not for me either, because I wouldn't use open back for pretty much anything. I think open back, they're great. Like they're going to give you, because of the way they ventilate.
Right.
And a lot of times what they do is they turn the cups, because your natural hearing is this way. The way the ears are actually, that's why you see a lot of way speakers are pointing.
Some people's more than others.
Yes. And so actually what they do in headphones is inside them, they turn the speakers to face the ears in a way that's more dead on. Right. So, but open back is great because it allows for some ventilation, and it allows for one, it's comfortable. It does reduce fatigue of the ears a bit. And the other thing is it cleans out some of that extra bass sometimes. And so for audiophiles who are listening to music, I think that's where it really is great. Or if you want to listen for kid crying, but it's not great. Some people do use them for streaming. I don't think they're great for streaming, because if your mic has gain on it, it could really pick up the stuff bleeding out as opposed to a closed cup. So I'm not sure if I would go with those for that. I'm just curious if you've had any thought on it, knowledge, or played around with them at all. I mean, they're really more audiophile stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm too busy spending my money on other stuff that's, more fun for me.
Yeah, I don't think this is where to put my money. I do have some interest in them, and that gets back to the 990s we had talked about. But
yeah,
it's just not $150. I don't have really a lot of time just to sit and listen to things. I think they'd be great to sit and watch, if I was watching a show or listen to music. But right now, most of what I'm doing is working. So I don't think that's where I want to spend my money.
Right. Open back, that's just like my dresses are usually that.
Yeah. And I don't know that. I don't know. I think for editing, it'd be fine. But again, I think the issue here is you almost then have to have two sets, because I don't think you'd want to use that for live streams. It could cause, I know some people do, but they've also complained that if you have a condenser, it's going to pick up bleed, and then you got problems. So
yeah, then you're going to have feedback problems. Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels more like a luxury item for people like us in this situation than it would be a necessity. So then the clothes like you have, or the typical closed cups, you kind of want them tight to keep that bleed going. But for me, I don't mind those, but I'll be honest with you, my ears, it's after a while, even on comfortable ones, I don't know if I enjoy those so much.
Right. And that's the main thing, right? In the end, you would just want to make sure that the things are comfortable if they're going to be in your ears for hours a week.
Right. I think comfort is the big price. Comfort, and are you getting at least a reasonable, realistic view of what the sound is or should be, that you're listening to or editing?
Well, yeah, that is definitely important. That's the whole purpose, really. But
so yeah, you could go. The only thing I will say, like I have Bluetooth, and I know I saw a stream this week, somebody trying to use Bluetooth for live, and so okay, fine, you can use these, and I like these for just messing around personally.
Yeah.
And look, I get the idea of it. if you're going to put them in, if you're doing a demo and you need to walk around, you don't want the mic, being like you're in a wave.
Yeah.
I do get trying to deal with it, and it's better than nothing. I don't know. I mean, your sound is going to be better probably with a clip on.
Yeah.
Remote probably than Bluetooth. My only issue with Bluetooth is I'm very insecure with them. They're so wishy-washy with the connections.
Yeah, I would be worried about that for sure.
Yeah. So they could jump on you. So, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I mean, if you really had to use them because you're like, oh, I need to move around and that's what I have, fine. I mean, there's no harm.
No.
Or you want to live on the edge a little bit with the Bluetooth connectivity.
You're making me think, like, why wouldn't they, like when Rode makes the wireless go-tos or whatever, why wouldn't they have now? I wonder if it would be possible for not just being a mic that when you have the you're the send and receive unit, but when you're holding the unit that you're out in the field with, why don't they have something where you can plug headphones into it so you can actually hear audio back too?
That'd be interesting.
Wonder if that would be like able to do anything like that.
I mean, they probably could do it. And then they probably sat there and went, okay, well, that's probably a good augmentation of the product, because right now the cost addition of that are enough people going to go, oh, that's not needed, that it's going to kill the amount of sales that we want. The question, I guess, ultimately is how much of a demand would that be? I think it'd be great personally
for streamers or anyone that would be doing anything wirelessly. I think that would be really cool, but I'm sure there's a way that they do it now. I just don't know.
We have to research that. That's it.
I was just thinking, like, if you were just walking around, right, and you're streaming. So the only way that I could hear something is if, like, I took my phone and then plugged the headset in and I could hear the stream.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So that's the way I would probably do it. But you're going to get a delay, of course, but you'll be able to hear back, though.
I mean, something's better than nothing. I mean, delays sometimes can mess you up too, I suppose. But I mean, to hear something to get, I don't know. I mean, would you want to use it more for a monitoring or just to get a level feel or a quality?
Well, no, I would like, I'm just thinking if you're using like the wireless units, like streaming wirelessly, that's all.
Yeah. So monitoring, you want to use it for monitoring.
Well, no, you wouldn't just be, I'm talking about like me using it, like, so I can hear what's going on so then I can reply back right to the camera, right live, so not a third party, because you can monitor right at the camera unit for the send. Oh, you could do that. I could do that. Yeah. But then I'd have to be really close. You know what I mean? I had to plug in. I'd have to plug in and be that close.
Or you'd have to have a hell of a long.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
I mean, cord, which they do. So,
like Merv Griffin had. You mean like all the way down the aisle? Let's take it up the aisle.
I like this. So confused.
Yeah, I'm thinking about something. That's why I'm trying to place like Brian. Like if you what if I was out on a wireless HDMI unit, right? And I'm scouring around. Now I'm talking into my mic. How can I hear back the audience? Like, say if I'm with Jeff and I just go pick up and go, how do I hear what Jeff is saying as I'm walking and streaming? So that's
I mean,
what
if you want a dialogue, that's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah. So I'm just curious.
You want a two-way option. I don't know how you would do that. I mean, the only way you could do it is you're also have another thing that's got the stream coming. You're gonna have such lag and echo or weirdness in your ears, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible, but I'm just wondering like what it would entail.
Yeah, that's all. I don't know. That's gonna get complicated. And I think it's kind of unrelated, but not.
He's like,
what now? Yeah, this is kind of just what? Yeah, you're not wrong.
Look at oh yeah, it is focusing on that one. See it?
Yeah, I see it
right there.
Yeah. See, now, I've had that issue. Once I got rid of it, I was fine.
Yeah.
Brian says, I think you use your phone. I think, but the issue is you're going to have some pretty severe, lag at that point, right?
I don't know how severe it would be. I mean, it would be maybe it could be a half a second.
That's not bad, I guess.
It's not horrible. It's not something you want to deal with for 2 hours. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's throwing in mix minus. So basically, take your whole rig out, take it on the road with you.
Don't do it.
As one of the things I think people, because I was reading through some comments on people who bought this and that, and tried to use things with their phone. You're talking about with a phone, and you'll see people try to plug in like a 770 biodynamic or whatever. They want to get it into the phone. I want to use it with the phone, and I'm like, these are 80 ohms, and I know we don't want to get off into the weeds on ohms, but I think a phone powering, I don't think you want to go over like 20,
yeah.
right, or something.
Yeah, imagine if you have the 990s and you're pushing out 250 ohms.
250 ohms. It's not going to work. You're
not going to hear anything.
You're not going to hear anything. And so they blame the headsets. Like, well, I couldn't hear the headset.
These headsets don't work.
Well, 80 ohms, 250 ohms into a phone that can only push out maybe 20 reasonably. It's going to be a problem. It's just not enough energy to get that out.
Only if you knew what you were talking about.
Oh my gosh. We need to start over. We can't even leave this on tape. That was so bad. That out in post. I like it. These dad jokes are they're just dad jokes. Like they're just ohms.
Yeah,
you've had a couple this week that have been.
Sorry.
No, I like it. I like it. It's about my speed. So
only me.
Only me. Yeah. I'm so only.
Only you could use that joke.
I don't think I'm actually really happy with my monitoring system, but I don't know what I would try next. I'm not going to headphones for my monitoring. I don't think that's going to happen. Even in editing, I think in editing, and that's the key here. I was thinking more for live streaming tonight, but I think for live streaming, maybe I'll jump back and forth between my 3 sets of in-ear monitors. Explain to me why you jump into the can sometimes. Is it just to change it up? Do you
just
feel
quit? No, I don't wear them on a stream. Like if I'm coming to talk to you and we're just gonna have a chat, then I'll throw those just on because they're sitting right here. That's all.
And I know this sounds vain or maybe a little too cosmetic, but I almost find it in live streams a little distracting as I don't know why. Like I feel, and I know it's stupid, but I just see these headsets, these big fat ear cans, this Princess Leia thing going on in the live stream. And then maybe that's an issue with me and nobody else, right? And it's not going to affect the success.
It doesn't bother me at all, really. But what I don't really care as long as I hear you and you're, sound good, then that's not a problem for me. The only thing with me is my ears were on fire. So it's just like, they're cool. And they're small, and I guess cosmetically they look better, right? There's no doubt that.
I think so. I mean, it seems the way where people are going as these prices, like for the Bears and the ones we have, and even some of these others, under $90, under $100. I think when you get in those price ranges, there's so many options that anybody generally can afford them. I think we're just going to see this be the norm. I think it's also just the headphones can fall off. They're kind of just clunky in general, but Brian, I feel cooler and more gamery. And there's something to that. I don't see a lot of gamers doing in-ear monitors on Twitch.
No.
And so now, to be fair, these are gamer headsets and built on board besides being wireless, which are fantastic. The soundscaping in there for gamers is amazing. I can set with the dials, different input monitor levels from chat to this, to my game, to my music, or to whatever. So to be fair, that's probably why that's going on. I mean, they have a whole host of audio routing going on in these gamer headsets.
But you can't fit RGB lighting anywhere with our in-ear.
It's true. Although I think it's going to happen, but I think there's something to it. I think gamers still have that thing where it's like the headsets, but also I do think it's more than its technology. I wanted to jump back here to Sandy. Hi, Sandy. How you doing? The Bravo Pup training.
Hi, Sandy.
Good to see you. I know you jumped in last week, and it's good to see you again. And you have a question about the cameras, and your question is a good one for me. It's do you prefer the 6400 over the 6100? I'm going to tell you, John always starts with, you got to start with price. Where's your price at? Because that can dictate this subject easily, right? What's the 61? Is it only $150 cheaper now?
Yeah, that's only like 150. So for me,
not really.
But listen, here's the thing: we're all in different situations, and I remember days where spending that much money on a camera was like as much as I could spend. Like when I go back to 2010 and I bought the Nikon 5100, it was like, I couldn't believe for the whole package, I spent like 900. You spent people will be like, you spent $900.
And then you have that weird regret. Like, should I have done that? Like, I feel icky.
Oh my God. But here's the thing though. I mean, it was utilized and it was worth it. But now I sit here with something that, the lens and the camera were like $3,500.
No, you're on topic. She's saying, "Oh, I'm off topic." No, everything here is on topic. You are never on topic. If you wanted to talk about chimes, you're on topic.
Just so everybody knows, while we're streaming, we always have like something we talk about for a little bit, but anyone can jump in at any time and ask a question, and we have no problem doing that. We just like to have a little something sometimes. Like even Thursday, I don't even have a topic, so we're just going to go in and just start chatting, and we'll take off with whatever. So anyone can ask a question.
Yeah, John's right. Our topic is just a little nucleus to swim around while we're answering your questions, which could be about anything.
Yeah, I would rather spend an hour on this, Sandy. So, so don't worry.
Yeah. Let's go back to, sorry. I'm going to get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let's discuss this a little bit. So do you want to answer and then I'll answer, or would you rather me go first on how I feel about
it? I don't care. I've done the research and I know the 6400 is better, right? But there always equates to a price, and the price difference is so minimal here. I know 150 can be a lot of money for some people, but what I'm saying is, as you grow as a YouTuber, the ability of the 6400 will definitely be something that you may utilize, especially if you start getting into color grading, or things like that. But if you don't find yourself ever going there, but that's hard to tell for some people. But if you have to kind of look at yourself and say, am I tech challenged? Are things difficult for me like this? And this is like something that takes a lot of time for me to learn. Then I will tell you right now, Sandy, and you will get really good results with a Canon M50 Mark II for $700. Make sure you get the Mark II. And that is a very easy menu system in comparison and a very friendly setup and a camera that gets a very good picture for 1080p. So that is going to be choices that you'll have to make, and they're not easy because now people throw more information at you. But you have to see where a person stands first. The 6100 is a good camera also, but when the price difference is only $150, that's where there are some improvements along the way. The S-Log or the C-Log on there is well worth it alone to be able to color grade. Then you have a shutter that is improved, that is much more long lasting, and that alone, I think those two things are great. Also, what you get is a little bit better of a focus system, and also small improvements all the time in the color that they're making in the AI systems of the autofocus also. I leave anything out? I mean, there's a couple custom, I think maybe 2 more custom buttons.
I mean,
but I think that's mostly everything, right?
Yeah. So John is a Canon guy generally. I am a Sony guy generally. However,
I like both.
You do, and I do like both. We don't criticize the other cameras because we believe that, again, it's about the variables involved, not about the cameras. The Canon M50 is a killer camera. Mark II is a killer camera, especially at this price range, and the 6400. Which is a little more, but I also think you get a little more, is a fantastic. I'm going to get 6400. It's a done deal. I love my A5100 for what it was. It was 350 used on eBay. The question is John's getting at is the tech threshold do you want to deal with? If you don't want to deal with a lot of menu systems, a little goofy, and some things are a little out of the box, and some great color and function, then I think he's right. You want to go with that Canon. I really do.
And the touch screen itself.
And the touch screen itself is fantastic.
I love that.
If you are really more, I know people keep throwing around like, all over our group, 6400, 6100. I really, unless you really want that autofocus has to be, or the color grading has to be, then I don't know. because again, if you want the Sigma, like everybody has the 16 millimeter 1.4 Sigma, if you want that lens, it's going to run you $399. So maybe the price difference starts to get a little more important on the camera.
I think that's a really good point too. Like, I don't know what she's using it for or what her intentions are, but that is a really good point. Whereas you can get a $700 camera with the M50, and then you can get a lens that will almost make up the difference of having a 6400. So, because that would equal out to about $1,100 versus $1,000 for the 6400 with the lens. But the thing is, the M50 and the 6100 are pretty much in the same realm, because the 6100 is not going to give you that in-depth color grading. Either is the M50, and so they're 8-bit, so you're not going to have that, ability to have that. So it really matters of color. If in color grading, you don't ever see yourself doing it, ever, not even a possibility, those other two cameras are great options. I had an M50. I have it right here. This is this camera that you see from the back with a 16 millimeter lens. I absolutely love this camera. I think it is an exceptional camera for $700. It has really good color. It's not really good color right now because I got all the lighting coming down on me right now. But if the color is really good for what it is, and you can't beat it for the price.
Yeah, it's great. It's great color. So I guess I hope we're triangling a little bit about what you might want to consider in making that decision. And please drop as many comments about, maybe trying to help us understand where your thresholds are. Do you have a specific price range that matters to you? Do you want the 16 millimeter lens? What are you using it for? Is it primarily videos or live streaming, or are you thinking more like photos even? Like, is that a big deal for you? So like maybe throw some of that into here if you want. And you
I would have to think she's going to use it for live streaming, right?
I would think so, but I again, I don't want to. And again, these things matter: price, tech threshold.
Everybody
lens,
everybody wants the world, right? But then when you come down to yes, right. Then you're like, yo, yeah, I want all that stuff. I want it all. What? That camera's $3,000. But look, here's the thing. You got to set a price point first and then say, look, I don't want to spend over $1,000. What are my options?
And Sandy, I want to make you feel better. I struggled. John will tell you, and chat will tell you, I struggled for weeks and weeks trying to decide on my next camera between the Canon 6400 and some other cameras. It is a struggle. When you talk, I'm in that 1,000 under range really for my budget. And when you start getting that range, you have a few options open that are really, really good. Now mine changed because I already have the lens, but still I kicked around the Canon idea because it is a wonderful camera. I ended up staying in the Sony family for reasons. And I think the 6400, if you are into coloring and stuff like that in LUTs, I think, or profiles, and I just don't know that you are. So if you want to drop in any of that stuff now or later on in groups or whenever you want, we'd love to answer.
The funny thing is a lot of people would have no problem using that Canon and never have an issue.
No, I agree. I don't know Sandy that well on a technical level. Probably if I was giving her advice, I'd nudge it towards the Canon.
Yeah.
Just based on what I know.
I would.
That's
why I brought it up, because I know a lot of people, and I think that there were a lot of people just getting started with cameras in the group, and I saw them and they were, working on their skills. And I think when tech overwhelms you and if you have a little bit of a learning curve with it to begin with, it is a no-brainer that you get something that helps you put out more content. If you're struggling with the tech and you can get something that is going to make things easier for you, I mean, get the Canon M50 Mark II.
I don't know if Sandy's still around, but I hope so. And I hope we can walk her into the direction she wants, or at least not leave her more confused, because I always get frustrated with that. I just think the 6400 is very popular, 6100, especially in some of these groups. And as Steve is saying, he purchased the 6400 for future, plus he got a great deal. But I know from what I know of Steve, he also he's not afraid of tech. I don't really know what his price point was, but he's very, he doesn't overspend.
Right.
So I know that much, but I think maybe he might be at a different tech threshold, but I don't want to make assumptions either. So
And then, listen,
more information would
the
help.
truth of the matter is people get information from certain places, and whoever those places are, they send you information that they're comfortable with, and they may not know outside of the box from there. And so you have to go and do your own research. I mean, I went and bought this Canon EOS R when everybody was bad talking it. And it was hilarious. Like they were putting it down, and then all of a sudden, 6 months later, people were getting rid of their Sonys and using this camera, and were thrilled with
it. Was a big thing, and then people had to roll back and go, "Oh, I was wrong about this," because it started. They wanted to jump on the algorithm thing, and because people were searching it out. And before we forget, I didn't want to skip over Robert. I wanted to say, hey,
oh, there he is.
Again,
hey, Robert, how you doing?
Channel's looking amazing. We got Patrick. Also, I wanted to
nice.
Say hi to him. I did see
Patrick.
you. I jumped over you. Didn't mean to. I was trying to keep the.
He gave me a nice shout out actually in the video he just did with the mics. I didn't know he did this video with the 5 different mics this past week. If you didn't check it out, and so
I'm sorry. Was it this? He released it this week already?
This week, yeah, I think almost a week ago, and I missed it. And so I just caught it, and then he was in there talking about the mic booster that he bought, and so he gave me a shout out, and so I appreciate that.
Patrick, I have to check it out because I'm always interested in the mic comparisons. So I'll check that out. That's awesome to hear, man. I'm glad you told us about that, and great to see you, by the way. That's awesome. And I wanted to Brian. Dropping some nuggets. He's going to get his RGBs, which I think is fantastic. But I think this is important to know. Does he feel he feels he looks cooler and more gamery in his headset?
That's important.
It is.
Gamery is a word too, by the way.
It is now, and I think it's important. I think, but this is a good comment here that Brian's laying out, and that better lights and audio go a long way, more than a new camera. Absolutely. Of course, people are going to want new cameras. So you want to answer that question, but I think that's the trade-off that people should remember in all this. When you're talking about saving $150, I bought some fantastic softbox. I'm using one softbox light right now that I bought. These were, I don't know what they came to, like $60 for the pair, including stands. And you can get really good light, and they can help any camera, especially if you're using them right.
That's a lot of new YouTubers or streamers. They forget about that. They get themselves a camera, and I know this by experience. I was there. You get there, you buy the camera, and you've bought. You just built a computer. You got 2 new monitors, and it's a never ending of the upgrade, right? And then all of a sudden, you're like, well, what about my lighting? Just sucks.
Yeah. And that's why you want to be. You want to talk to, like Brian saying, you want to talk to people that have experience. And that's why, we have experience in this. And so does Brian and Steve and on so many people that are here who have probably more knowledge than us in some of these areas. Like Brian is a major good at this. Look at Steve's production value. So does Robert and Patrick. So, you drop in and ask these questions, but it's true. So that $150 could be very valuable for somebody.
$150 could bought my Dasneys.
Yeah, the Dasneys are amazing
for the desk and streaming. In this situation, they were invaluable. So for her, if she needs it, right, and she's in like a situation with cheap lighting, the soft lights that you got, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so we'll have to, maybe Sandy left, or she'll check in on replay. But if you did, come back in, find us. You know where to find us. And if you want to follow up, of course, we'd be happy to, and to kind of circle back to Steve's point about future proofing. I mean, he's not wrong. And of course, the question is the point would be that not all future proofing is the same for everybody. So, in this case, he is future proofed. I think, again, he's going to probably do some expanding things. He's probably going to do more into the color profile. I can just see him doing more in the editing. And also, he may be a guy that's like, this has got resale value. Maybe that's important to him. So he's going to, or B camera. I don't know.
Yeah. And even if he doesn't use that, I just think like for $150, it's a better camera. It's going to have a better resale value if you decide to get rid of it a couple of years from now. It's got better color right now out of the camera. It's tweaked a little bit. So to me, to drop another 150 for something that I feel would be better, because I would hate to get something and be so close in price and be like, I should have spent a little bit extra money.
Yes, exactly.
So that's just the way I am.
I'm kind of the same way. We got not a random question. I don't want to make it sound like that. It's a question about streaming. I don't know if you have a thought on this, John. Why don't you lay it out for a second?
My thought is stream whatever day you want. You know, you got to do what's best for you. Don't work around other people. It's not stepping on anyone's toes in any means. You're going to find the people that are going to come to you, and we'll find the people that will come to us. And that's the way it all works. But you kind of like just got to go with your flow that works. And because, you know, besides me just doing Thursday, I'm going to be streaming on the weekends coming up and stuff like that too by myself. And I'm sure Jeffrey, as time goes on, we're going to do a little bit of separate streaming too.
Yeah, I you know, I'm starting to kind of just lightly dabble into some light streams on some groups. And then I need to start, I'll dabble here and do some, like maybe what I'll do, because John and I will do our own streams for our own reasons here and there. We'll do our kind of our I call it mash unit kind of hits. I may go out and do like a 15-minute demo of Notion or something that I'm working on because I'm really into the Notion app right now. You know, stuff like that. So he's right. You're not stepping. If you did one on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central, you're not stepping on my toes. I mean, I'd want to watch you, but
9 o'clock, forget about it.
But this guy, he can't even with this guy. So he's right. Do what you, I look, it means a lot that you care enough to ask. And maybe it's because you feel like, hey, let's just spread it out so I can, you know, you would like us to step in and watch, and we do too.
Yeah,
so
we would too, but everyone's got families, everybody's got a life. So it's, I'm not saying it by any means, like I'm just saying it for that purpose. You got to go with what works for you. You know, like you have, if you're home on the weekends and then you're doing a live stream on the weekend and you're taking away from your family, then it's not worth it, you know? So just got to do what's right for you. And people will come and watch replays and stuff like that too, if they're going to be interested in what you're talking about. So that's all.
And this is,
and we love,
I think Patrick's the same.
Like you too.
Yeah, I think he's like us. We're just nice people trying to make everybody feel, you know, they're getting their support and love. And we want that for you, Patrick. So, you know, whatever you decide, believe me, I will make sure to jump in and support every chance I can. And I'm sure John will too, because it's important to us to give back. And so, you know, just know that that's the same. And just asking the question, I think is a lovely offer of respect and kindness.
Yeah, I think though also you just got to remember, you know, as you develop your YouTube channel and it becomes more over, you know, time consuming and stuff, everybody, like, everybody's here, right, to help each other. And you hold someone's hand and you help them, and people help me in different ways when you have to reach out and whatever it may be. But at some point, right, like a bird, you know, leaving the nest, you take the wings and you fly off, man, and you got to do what you got to do. Don't let anybody hold you back, and just go for the, you know, go for the high, man. Just
there's something so freeing, Patrick, or anybody in that position. And John and I, you know, we've talked about it, because it is freeing at some point to say, this is no longer part of my highway. Okay. So I'm just going to go 150, and the stuff where I'm worrying about, it's not that I don't care. I don't want to step on people. Of course not. But I'm not doing that. I'm doing my thing, your thing, whatever.
Right.
Just feel free to do what you got to do, and let those voices clean out and it's all going to take care of itself. And
and like and just like Jeff was saying, is that anytime that I can get to someone's stream or watch something, I'm there to support the people that are in our circle, you know, because listen, if you don't think the top and the biggest YouTubers aren't doing the same thing, I mean, they do the same thing with each other. When you see people jumping in the live streams, they're supporting each other. And I get that. And that's the whole reason why we discussed community and supporting each other, and there aren't any stupid questions, and you come in and be honest with people. But I'm kind of over the whole fact of telling people everything's perfect all the time too. It's not the way it rolls. We're all new. There ain't nothing perfect about what we're doing.
There's a lot of broken things that we got to fix.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just okay though, right?
We're all looking to improve, and that's the whole thing. I mean, and so if you're not doing that, you're not doing your best. So,
yeah. You know what, Brian, you bring up something that I've been thinking about. I've been going through and I've listed all my gear and my Notion, which turned out to be a lot more money and items than I thought I'd accumulated in 2 months and a month of streaming. So I haven't posted. I don't have affiliates. I don't think I would even qualify for affiliates.
Kick me out again.
Did they really? I've heard this more and more. However, the softbox lights I'm using are in fact the Mount Dog softbox kit from Amazon. And then I use the same Dasneys that John has, and I recommend the D50s.
Want me to show them?
Yes, if you have them.
These are So these are them. So these usually stop right about in that little connector in the middle, and I added a 1-foot-long extension to go another foot higher. So if anyone gets these and they want to know, I gave Jeffrey the link. You can ask him or I, and this will help you get them a foot higher. And they swivel and they angle down at you, and you have from 0 to 100 lighting, and you can go with the warmth and the cool, and you get to use it all with a remote right here. So
those are the newer 10-inch metal flexible tube arms, $26, I believe,
for two.
Yeah, I've got all it handy in my little. I'm just pulling it up with my little Notion. I can't wait. Yeah. We got to do a stream. I just love that little Notion. You know how much I love.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. I'm a little bit weird I see other people that are streaming do the same thing where they have everything broken down by stream. When they talk about a stream and they go into different topics, they even have it broken down like what topics, so people can you can give them the info again.
No, I know it's really nice to be that way. You know what? I'm going to break down. For what it's worth, I'll probably break down some of my gear list and drop it in my stuff. I think that's kind of cool to have. I see a lot of people do that, and I don't know. I mean, I think the studio is okay enough where I feel like if I drop in what lights I use, people be like, okay, he's got a decent set. We do, you know what I mean? I've had some help, but I mean, I think we're at a point where we can drop that in and help people out. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Come back in.
Thank you, Brian. And yes, Brian said something here. I wanted to, where did it go? Damn it. Oh, I hate that when you know what I'm looking for, right?
No.
I'm looking for, oh shoot, bottoms. So what I was looking for was he wanted, here it is. He wants to know if he can be in the streamer buddy inner circle. So
I don't know what that
is. Yes, you do. Cause you're in the inner circle of the streaming buddy. And I think that's going to be our new, that's going to be our little club here. It's going to be streaming buddies. We're all little streaming buddies.
Well, we can't wait.
Brian's a streaming buddy, and Lalo's a streaming buddy, and Steve and Patrick, all our streaming buddies. Of course, Ash, you name it. So I don't care what you say. We're doing it. We're all the club.
What's Chris asking up above?
I know, I saw it. I'm going to head down there.
And
actually, I got to head
I think I just read it.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris. I was getting to you. How many cameras are best for a live stream studio to do a live stream? John, you have 3. JA 2. Curious, can one camera be enough to? Well, I'm going to tell you, I only have 1. So I guess the question is, are you impressed, sir? I am thinking about, I'm going to get the 6400, so I probably will set up an AB, but I don't see really the point. I'm fine with the one camera look. I think now I'll get the second one. I'll be like, yeah, look at every stream to be bouncing back and forth. Like this guy over here on the left, he loves to bounce between his 3 camera setups. My quick answer on this, Chris, is 1 is plenty and 3 is just ridiculous. But John is who he is. And now here's the thing about what John's doing though, and what I can respect. It is fun to see the different looks, but also he can show in real time the different angles, the different shots of these cameras that he's talking about. So I think there is something to be said for that.
I think that's real important. Just so people get a visual, right? Because I see this is the thing, and this is why I wanted to do this. Is that I've seen so many live streams where people start talking about what's on their desktop or anything, and then they can't show anything, you know. And so to me, to be able to have something that's right off to the side, like I think 2 is a perfect setup actually, because I like that you can change, you know, the scene real quick, and that keeps people kind of engaged a little bit, so you
Yeah.
can go back and forth a little bit like this, and you can go and show your desktop, and I can just bend this camera right down and I can literally show more of my desktop, you know. And this is on that arm that we use the lights for too. So these arms, these little foot arms, the newer, are really, you know, a great asset with a super clamp, and you got a camera on it. And so, and this is what it looks like from here. So I could just show you, I got it clamped right to my desk right here. And then the camera is right there. So one day I'll go through all my stuff. It's just not doing it yet.
Yeah. And you know what? And John's right. I mean, that's kind of something I think I want to do when I'm doing, even though I can do screenshot with, like, I'm doing demos on the computer. I think there's something to be able to show your desktop once in a while for different things at a different angle. I think that's fun. But again, necessary? No.
It's
There are plenty
definitely
of
not
people
necessary.
who use, no, plenty of people who use a single one. I've only used a single one. No one's ever complained.
Yeah.
But
There's some top YouTubers, and that's all they have. That is it. And
They
they
just
sit there and
don't
talk
care.
for 2 hours.
right, because it's your content, generally speaking. But I think if you want to do it, I think it's awesome. And definitely you should do it then. I would totally support that. And about a fee for the streaming buddy, it's to be determined. We're having a little bit of a board meeting on that. We'll discuss what the fee is.
Buy me a coffee.
Yeah, it's pretty much a coffee buy, probably.
Oh,
You already got the subs. You're good, man. You're good. And as far as the mount dogs, he must have checked them out. And he's like, Monoprice has those lights for 55% off. I like these lights for what they are. They are light. You can move them anywhere. I know they're all the same ones, just with a different stamp on them. The newer makes them. They're all the same stamps.
Yeah.
They're all the same boxes. But I got the mount dog.
yeah, but they're super cost effective.
They're super cost effective. I'm going to use them for some other things in my videos. I think they're fantastic, and I can't say enough about the Dasneys for the price. Oh my God, these things are fantastic.
It's like a freaking secret. Like, I don't know who can go out and spend that money on those Elgato lights, but God bless you if you can.
Was it $300 for one?
It's 200 for one. Okay, so it's 400 for the two. I got both of these lights, right, for $157.
Yeah, so you can go out and buy then if you really want to add more lights, like you want to get soft box lights and try them up. I really wanted to try the soft box lights. I'm mixing it. I've got a Dasney on over here, and then I have keying up over here. I've got a soft box, and for me, beyond I think is better coverage than a little harsher light. For me, the other issue is I have this dim so low, but it's big that my eyes don't burn. So it just depends. I do need to work on getting the glasses not glared out.
Well, the other thing is for me, these lights don't take up a lot of room, these panel lights, right? They don't. Yeah, because I see people, they got the giant lights, and this is not too harsh. It's not horrible. It's it can be adjusted a little bit more, but I also got a very faint light over my face, so I can even turn this off. But it's not a horrible thing, and I think they're the best bang for the dollar. And the other thing is the Elgatos, you have to go through an app with those. So they're not like physically
the other
you can go and change anything.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I would not spend. I wanted to not spend here.
And these Dasneys will take a Sony battery in the back, bro. You can take these on the run.
I know, and you can put these Dasneys on a normal tripod if you wanted to. I like them on the desk. And that's something I want to cover. I have a huge space, so for me to put up a soft box and a bunch of them, I have 3 times as much room as you can see. So it's not an issue. Yeah, absolutely. That's not an issue. Look at John. Nobody look at John. This is not happening. Just put your hand over on the left side of the screen until he's back and everything's safe. So yeah, if it's a space thing, these Dasneys are the way to go. Absolutely. And Chris says, then one is the winner. Look, man, I only got one, and it's a $350 used A5100. You know, I've had help from John and Brian and research, but mostly John and Brian to get this thing set up in a way that's not making people nuts and has good lighting. But I got to tell you, I don't think it's hurting the stream to have one. My only thing is I like that John has three, because I do like his looks, the multiple looks. And I think that's what I'll end up doing. I'll have the 6400 set up the same way to get different looks. But look, man, start with one and augment, like have a journey and add as you go, and really know what you want to take for that next step. Too often we try to outthink the next step. I say just take a step and build on it, and go from there. Oh boy. Oh boy. You know, you've been so cute with your, I'm just going to take a second here, and I see the chats. I want to get on them. First of all, I want to back up to Lala. This is a sweet, this makes my heart happy. And this makes me feel good about jumping on tonight, amongst the other ones. But exactly. Awesome. Totally. I love the community that John and Jeffrey has here. Very inclusive. Everyone is welcome. And the stream, beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's because if you were here when we're done at night and we do another 2 hours talking amongst ourselves, what we end up talking about are the comments like that, you know, that we've had, and we've had so many, and you know, people like Brian and Chris and Ash, and
yeah, I mean, this week alone,
on.
I could put a tear to my eye this week alone. Like, I swear, yes. Like the people, I don't ask for it, and I just want people to improve. So just the love that comes back is awesome, you know, and that's the whole thing about everything that we do. And if, you know, we try to all improve and help each other and make goals. And there's times when Jeff tells me, like, John, dude, that doesn't look good in the back, and maybe you want to do this. And I'll say, you know, oh, you might want to try something with this. And for him, or he was having a little problem with his mic last week when he was just jumping on. I'm like, bro, you got to check this. It sounds like another mic. You're coming in. And so we help each other improve. And otherwise, if we weren't here, like, making ourselves better every week, we wouldn't even be where we are. And we're so new at streaming. I mean, I have people that are coming to me and going, they're blown away by our streams and talking about how professional it looks. And so I'm like really happy to hear those kinds of things and the feedback that I'm getting.
It's been wonderful. And this only works though if you have people invested, asking great questions. It's not like people are coming in here being clowns. Don't get me wrong, that's going to sound funny, because we do love like we're pretty sarcastic, witty guys. So we're not saying be serious at all. I love the play that we have. I'm talking about being trolls and goofy, like just disruptive type stuff, not this stuff. So I love that.
We're here to learn, and we're here to have fun too. Absolutely. But it's like, we want to give people a professional look. We want to, you know, emulate what we're talking about. And so when you're new and people are like, look at you and think that we're only doing this for so long. I mean, it's kind of incredible. And we're going to ride this journey and see where it goes. And we're going to have fun with it too. And you guys Jeff is right. I mean, what is a stream without the people coming, you know? So it's nothing. We'd be talking to ourselves.
I'm just be honest with you. John and I will talk for 2 hours to ourselves, and we're happy to do that. But I'll be honest with you. If I go back to watch this already, this has been already an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop, really fun conversation about things that matter amongst friends and new people that want to get things done. So I really appreciate that. And the truth of it is, I love that your wife likes this, because I do. And I know it sounds silly, but here's the thing. I can tell you from my experience, I'm very technically astute. I've been a freelancer for over 20 years. I know how to get things done. And be disciplined. And yet I will admit that without some Stream Buddy action along the way, I don't know that I finish off this project. I needed people like John and Brian's and everybody that's in this chat, the little bit that I got from everybody to help me get going and get that energy. And that maybe other people are different, but that's for me. I needed that to get me over some of the friction humps that we run into. So I like Stream Buddies.
I get you. And there are people that, you know, will forge if I forged my whole way by myself to this point, and I didn't have a problem with it, but here's the thing. And the only reason I do things like that is because, I mean, if you're lucky enough to find people that can give you good advice and you can roll with everything that we're talking about and improve on the things we're talking about as far as cameras or suggestions on how a look is, but it's hard to find people that know what they're talking about, and plus that you have a gut feeling how you want everything to look. You've taken yourself this far. You want to take yourself over the edge. I don't think like I just have an envision in my head of how I want things, and I don't want to change those. And I want to go for that ride. I want to go for that journey. I found a couple people, and it makes the journey that much more fun. But it isn't essential. But I'm glad to have people that I can just pick up a phone and say, "Yo, Jeff," and he's all the way in Milwaukee. I'm, all the way here in North Jersey, and we can talk about like just topics. And same with Brian, and same with Ashley. And so this is our community, and it's going to really help us all get to where we want to go.
Yeah. And and I think in a way, the Streaming Buddy thing is more of a cohesive like community thing more than is you and I. And I think that's kind of how it's evolved. When I say Streaming Buddies, it used to be you and I, we're Streaming Buddies. And I realized the weight and the energy of all this is the people that you just mentioned, and everybody nibbling off here and there and helping each other, not just here, but we've both gotten private messages or reached out to other people for different things. And it's just important. We'll look back on it and see that our successes are predicated on these type of efforts in the Streaming Buddy world and the life preservers that we're holding on to with each other. I think there's something to that. And I know it makes John a little uncomfortable, but I am here to make him uncomfortable. So that works for me. And I am going to get t-shirts made up for Streaming Buddies.
I think we should. I think it's definitely some people would love to be involved with. I think you should get t-shirts made up with that. I think the people will buy them. And another example is like Lala over at Mommy Guide, right? Inc. Mm-hmm. She's halfway around the world, and she's here to support people. Yeah. And she's working in not as conducive environments to be able to find the tech she's always looking for or the information. And it's another example of not being held back by anything. Yeah. And it's like, you just got to keep going. It's exhausting. It's tiring. Your stuff isn't always the way you want it to be, but you just got to keep going.
There's so many times where I start to get that weird, start feeling sorry for yourself, and you're like, no, man, there are people punching through things, and they're fighting through that with much more difficult obstacles that you need to stop. And so that awareness, I think, is always healthy. But we all deal with our own level of mental things that go on. And I'm going to jump down here because this is something that's important to me. Ash has been saying, I've been so off my game this week dealing with mental health issues, but the community is amazing. And for me, that the reason that hits home for me is because I deal with immense anxiety. I have for 15 years and immense and depression, and have worked through that with tools and management of that. But it's a thing that always exists with you. And so you can manage these things, and everybody has different levels of this and whatever. But I think in this world of content creation, and there's anything worse than people with insecurity, anxiety, and depression is to put themselves out there as an actress or a musician or as a content streamer to say, judge me, because that's what you're doing. You're essentially performing and saying, now give me some feedback. And that's like the worst thing you can have. And yet that's what we want to do. And we want to make people happy. And so it's just an interesting, it's almost ironic, I guess, in a way. But you know what, Ash, it is a beautiful community, and I'm glad that you can feel the energy of that. And I'm with you. I know John's with you.
We're thinking of you too.
And
we're here for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. Just know that. And sometimes that's all you need, right? Just to know that people are with you. And I'm glad you said something, and it's near and dear to my heart. So it's a mighty fine stream. Oh, thank you so much, Mother. I appreciate that.
I want to point out something I was watching, and I'm going to try to think who it was, but I was watching a live stream this week, And someone said, like, you have these people that come on and ask the same questions, right? And one of the most asked questions is, do I need to show my face to to do YouTube? And the answer from the person that was live streaming was like, listen, it's like one of the most important things to engage with like if you're an anomaly, but most people aren't. So yeah, you got to show your face. And if you feel like you can't show your face, maybe this is not the thing for you,
Yeah.
And this is a guy who knows what he's talking about. And this is the advice that people need to hear sometimes. So that is like, it's a little bit harsh, but it's true. You can't ask yourself if I can't show my face. Well, listen, you could do what you want to do, but it's not going to make you excel by any means. So you're going to do everyone's going to do what they're comfortable about, but don't expect the growth to be as big as it would if you didn't. And like he said, is if your situation is something different or there's an anomaly in the whole concept that you're doing, that's a different story. But it's like sometimes you got to hear the hard stuff. And, I'm trying to get things sorted a little bit because I'm trying to put a plan in action so my video content is smoother and better.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to just reiterate, you're right. I mean, this is tough, and you can have a sidekick. You can do some things. Absolutely. I know people do videos and do content, never show their face, and they do very well. I think the live, that's okay for a gimmick. I think after a while, people kind of want to know a little bit more intimacy to stay committed to the idea of it, unless it's something super entertaining. I guess that can be done. But I think you're dead on. I think that's you need to show your face. And if not, then maybe we need to have another discussion about, where they hang up.
A different job.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, people are like, oh, you're being direct. Yeah, he's being direct. I mean, he's not wrong though either. And that doesn't mean that your feelings aren't real.
And I could pick out probably a million, and not a million, but maybe I could probably pick out 1,000 people that don't show their face and do well. But that's not the point. The point is the majority of the people on YouTube that are successful are showing their face.
Yeah. And look, yeah, there's always aberrations, and yeah, go for it. I don't think it should stop. You should go your path, but it is going to be hard. That's all. And John Pullum writes, I think a lot of us do, getting back to the mental anxiety and depression. The more you talk about it, the more you hear of other people suffering for the same thing. I think it's gotten worse over the years for a lot of reasons. I think technology and social media, unfortunately, has put some pressure points into that to make things worse. And I think we all know that. Go ahead.
Our society doesn't really do a good job at making things any better either. So our doctors are really good at medicating, but they're not really good at really fixing the issues, right? Or people are the same way too. They don't realize that it takes years of therapy to have a mindset at a certain point before you can even have drugs that could help you. Otherwise, you will be over medicated, because that's what our society does. They Band-Aid everything instead of really going there. I mean, listen, this goes from healthcare, but also to just general health in our society is the same exact way.
It is true. And the truth of it is, I could do a 5-hour stream and just get started on the road I took and ran into early on with medications and things to try to get a hold of things that are. And it was an absolute nightmare. And it was at a time in the early 2000s when people were pushing on things, but they weren't really knowing what they're pushing. So yeah, I don't want to get too dark into that, but I think all of us have been through some things, and a lot of us may have been down that road. And you're right, John. I think at the end of the day, what really helped me was a community of people that didn't necessarily patronize me. What they did is they supported me, and they said, "Hey, you got this. And we'll be here." And then the other one was finding the tools to work through those things and to manage things. And at the end of the day, as streamers, I think the most important thing besides gear and how do you set up and how do you edit, I think the other one is to have that lovely voice of balance to say, you're okay, you got this, and today maybe not be your best day, but tomorrow's going to be a different day, and it's going to be great, and it usually is. John, on a different subject, says, I like your lights, Jeffrey. Thank you. It's something that we have discussed, and I like that you say that, because it's something that was a pressure point for me not that long ago, and it took a lot of work to figure it out. And I think the lights for me are pretty much a microcosm of the journey here for me, where it's just been really, really hard. And at times you wanted to quit and figure something else out. And then it worked out just by pushing through and asking for help. So thank you so much. And I love this. Samantha, Ash, we're here for you. It's absolutely true. We are. And those words, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, those are the words. We're here for you. And that's all you need sometimes, right, John?
I think it's, it's hard, but I think when she comes out and says something here, she's basically saying she's going through a hard time. People don't say things that they can't hold back, and so I think she's going through a real difficult time, and we all have those times. I've had just as difficult times in my life as anyone else. It isn't easy all the time to get where you need to go, especially if you don't have the support of your family in a lot of ways. But you have to really, and it's hard as heck, but you have to advocate for yourself. You see that right there?
Look at that.
Do you see that right there?
You're full of surprises, John. Oh my goodness.
That means I just got a new subscriber.
Oh, that's
Isn't that awesome?
I love that. That is sweet.
So I think it's hard because, first of all, like I said, they Band-Aid everything here, right? They'll go and put you on drugs that you won't even be able to go to work. It'll be drooling out your mouth. But the thing is, if you don't advocate for yourself and you don't know what you're talking about, and this is why I can go into this for hours. I can go on a stream for 5 hours about how I have not trusted people and have to figure out everything for myself, because when you're 8 years old and you think Christmas is about some guy coming down a chimney, and you find out it has nothing to do with that it's a pagan holiday, and it just goes on and on and on. And so,
so that just set you off on a whole journey of, I just trust everything right now. And I won't even get into the tooth fairy, because that may set you off. And I don't really want to have that discussion.
No, but you have to really just advocate for yourself. It's a tough animal. It is,
but I mean, you do have to advocate for yourself. But there are just moments where, honestly, you need an advocate too. Like,
yes,
you need somebody in your corner to kind of pull your head out of it. Because
I'm just talking about doctors. Like, I'm just saying.
I see.
You got to go there with like this knowledge, because they'll take over, and then you question them. They look at you like, "Are you seriously questioning?" Yeah, I am. Do you know I actually questioned a guy, and I had to come back with I don't know if I told you, I went in my kitchen and circled. I took anatomy and physiology twice in college credits, right? I didn't go to college.
You liked it so much you did it twice?
I did it in high school. So and then I did it in school for something else. But so I went in and circled the broken bones in my own x-rays, right? And took them back to him, because he's saying that there wasn't. And so I went there, handed it to them. He about turned white, and he never charged me a bill for the rest of the time that I went there. And then 5 years later, I found out that they threw him out of New Jersey for fraudulent stuff. So he's not even a doctor here anymore. And that kind of, like, you just, there are so many occasions with my motorcycle accidents that I realized, and my wife realized, that she was my advocate. Okay. Because I was broken. I mean, when I had my motorcycle accident, it took me 2 years of deep depression. I remember when the first spring came and the motorcycles were going out, there were tears running down my cheeks, knowing that I'm not going back out there. And it's bull crap, because it's not important. My life doesn't evolve around it.
No, it doesn't. But there becomes an emotional aspect of it that's sometimes hard to define. Like, why is this bothering me? It's beyond that. And
I had a big love for it, and just, Sure. But the second accident was bad enough to say, I need to be here for my family, and that's more important. And now every year that goes by, I still miss it, but it's not like I have a control over that. And now, now I'm addicted to streaming.
Well, then you can do like Brian saying, you can also become a red animated monster, which I make no bones about it. I fell in love with Brian's we call him Flurm because I think that's the token name of that character in I forgot what the app he uses for that, but I loved it. I thought, Brian, you are a guy that could do very well in content using Flurm and your voice. He has so many tools we keep talking about, but he's got that voice. Like there's a voice that is so soothing as an adult. I'm probably as a child, because I am a child.
Does he call you before you go to sleep at night?
He does. It's wonderful. I just let the.
So you're saying Brian's the anomaly?
He is. He's the anomaly. And he could be the anomaly. I like the streaming buddies. Thank you. So we have a vote. I like streaming buddy. I'm gonna trademark content creator streaming buddy, whatever I can come up with. I'll come up with something. We'll get a logo going. I love it. If anybody steals it, you'll be hearing from John's lawyers.
You gonna get shirts made up?
Huh?
You gonna get shirts made up?
I'll get shirts. Shirts are absolutely. We're gonna. And then Ash says my mental issues recently are not actually related to my channel, but has made it harder for me to post. Yes, and I think that
I get that
right there is something that we all can relate to on some level. So whether or not you are somebody who's predicated some more deeper anxiety or depression, or just somebody who might get melancholy here and there, or just has a little bout of uneasiness about this path, that any of that disruption, like just not getting enough sleep, for example, can set you up the next day to feel like I'm not worthy, I'm not vulnerable, I'm not getting enough done, I'm wasting my time. What am I doing here? And it can set you, right, John, down a slope of just
felt like that for 2 weeks.
Yes. Yes. I mean, you're right. I mean, we haven't got much sleep, and we both, truth of it is, we've been up late. We've been really working on the channel and some things we want to do. And the truth of it is we haven't slept much, and it starts to add up. And we both hit a wall where our energy for the channel and chat and everything that we're doing is there. But what happens is similar to what Ash is kind of saying. Things start to creep up on you a little bit, where if you're tired and then something else in your life maybe happens, and all of a sudden you're vulnerable to whatever. And then guess what happens? You don't make content, or you don't do a live. And I'm sure Ash would agree. What happens? You start to cycle and spin a little bit, and it builds on itself. And then that's a tough thing. It's like a tailspin. It's a little bit hard to pull yourself out of, even when your mind is screaming at you. It's okay, man. You can do a stream next week. You'll be back.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? The first, when Jeffrey and I were trying to get things all rolling with the streaming, right? Because the whole streaming aspect is a whole different animal. So we were really focusing in on the streaming, knuckling down things, trying to perfect some certain things that are going to make everything go smoother for the future. Like even just me having that popped up was my stream elements, right? I've had that for 9 months and I didn't set it up. And so I want to have that so we can have some interactiveness when people are on a stream, or if someone subscribes, I want to be able to show that,
Yeah.
And so that was the beginning of that. And so we're always working towards that. And I was worried, like, oh, now this is the 3rd week or the 4th week I haven't done a video. And I was having anxiety about it. And because I was like, well, if I'm not making videos, what's going to happen?
And I could feel that. So today I said to John, I'm like, if you look now, I had my own thing. So I said something to him. I'm like, man, I'm kind of beating myself up this morning. And then I said, you seem a little quiet. And then you kind of acknowledge, I'm just not really happy with myself or not, whatever. And we kind of just let it go and chuckled about it and realized this is not the end of the world. And, but it does help again to have somebody to bounce that off of. And I totally get where you're coming from on that. Thank you. I know you're trying to make me happy. I actually do appreciate it, and it means a lot. And you know what? I want to talk about John's shirt choice today. Let's reiterate your shirt choice here again. Let's talk about this.
Let's get hooked.
Yes. Let's. Which channel are we talking about here?
Circle Hook Productions. That's Clint's.
Clint.
And I'll probably have to bring this on Thursday. So if Clint jumps into the stream, he can see his magic.
He should. It's wonderful. And John, I can assure you, there's no war on Christmas yet with us. Because although John's just not getting anything. Come on. I mean, he's given up on the whole idea, and we'll just let it go at that. The Tooth Fairy gave me a 20 gave you 25 cents a tooth. The hair fairy gave me more. You're a rich man, and that's I can appreciate that. And Lala, yep,
Just left me out.
huh?
Just left
She
me
left
out.
you out. No, man. I was talking about Brian's talent. We all know about your talent. Your talent is chasing down your lens that keeps trying to refocus. But look, anybody that's been around Brian long enough, you do realize how talented he is. And we keep trying. We don't, look, there's no sense beating somebody up because we're at our own pace. And that actually does more harm than good. My only point to Brian is you're a talented, and I look forward to you getting your stuff out. And if you need help, you of course always ask, but you're here, and that's awesome. And that's all that really matters. So
I'm not going to talk about Brian's talent anymore until he does something.
This is like the good cop, bad cop, a show on Brian. Take your time. Here's what John really meant to say. He's meant take your time. You're on your own journey.
Right.
You don't feel pressured, and his love is unconditional. Right, John? Did I get you right?
Never. Never.
I felt like I was nailing it. I
think he's ready to go. Don't hold back.
He is
start now.
JA, you are saying Brian Paul's videos would be better if he didn't show his actual face. That's what you seem to be saying. Well, so we're inciting a riot. I didn't say that so much. No, I love Brian's face. He knows that. I
know how John Pullman voted for.
I know that Brian can do anything. But I do have to say, his animation stuff that he was doing was really drawing people in at the end of Lita, and people were like, they're asking for more. And it's not just the character's cute. Don't get me wrong. But it's just the way, there's just this innocent way that your voice animated him, and the way that you go about it, that I think is an it thing. So yeah, but he's pretty too. So I don't know what to say. And I'm going to put this up here because this man, he keeps doing it. He did win an 8th regional Emmy. This guy has,
congratulations.
Yes, very much. And he mentioned the other day, and I should have brought it up, but the truth of it is, he's got a ringlet of these. He's got two hands full of these regional Emmys. I think that speaks volumes. And I know, Brian, you're not a guy who generally wants this. I'm glad you said something. I think you come out and saying something is progress. I really do. So
absolutely. You should be proud of that. And I'm sure you are.
And, I think it's also good that you correct that poor English and poor grammar that you laid out there. So I'm glad you followed up with that little nugget.
Should have put an exclamation point behind that. 8th. 8th, man. It's the 8th. It's not the first one.
And you got to do that whole thing like, eat it. Just totally rub it in people's faces that did not win.
Yeah. Did I say 3?
I'd say 3.
4?
Oh, how many regional enemies do you have?
5?
Because
I'm not going to have enough hands in a couple of years.
Yeah, I have to have more kids in order to carry all these from one room to the other when we eat. Samantha can make the shirts. I think we're going to have discussion about this. I feel good about this. I have watched enough of Samantha's videos here recently. I've been dipping in. Her color schemes are lovely, and I'm okay with pink. So, we can talk about that. You two are like Starsky and Hooch. Yeah, you're on to me. I am Hooch. Congratulations again, Brian. I think we should absolutely congratulate our streaming buddy. And I think that's amazing. I also want to take a second before people leave to congratulate again. I don't know if everybody knows this, but your M50 video got over 5,000 views last week, I believe. And that is
thank you.
A beautiful milestone. I don't think that can go unsaid again in the stream. I also want to point out. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I saw it back a ways, but Patrick just going over 300 subscribers. I think
he's at 299, and I hope somebody bounced over there and did 300. I really do, because he did get on to 299, cool. And I bet he has 300 or by the time this thing is over. Not, I'm going to find somebody to do it. I also wanted to point out, John, I think shameless plug, but I believe you got a new branding going on your site, a new logo. And I don't know. I don't know if you have any way to pull this. I sprung this on you.
I
So
do.
I would love for you to show people, because he started showing me this amazing work by his friend. Can you drop your friend's name? Because I think it's nice.
Yeah, that was Chris who came back
Yes, he
in
was
the
earlier.
stream, Chris McCormick.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of like my YouTube channel now. So he did the Coffee Talking Tech, which I absolutely love.
I love this logo. I
And
love this branding.
yeah, even just down to, I don't know if people notice this, right? This backboard is all computer, like the motherboard, right? In the coffee is the same, like with the circuit board in there and the little bubbles. And then you got the mic and then the plug right here. It's like a 1/4 inch. And so I'm really, really happy with it. And he gave me a couple different brands. And like, though, that's my main one. And then I have like another one and another one for like, just for some different colors. Cause I opened up a spread shop, which is like the Spreadshirt t-shirts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I have a shop in there with hats and t-shirts and everything that I'm picking out and that I want to have the stuff on. So, and I have a couple examples coming. And so I'll have the coffee cup hopefully by next week.
I'm excited for the coffee cup, and I can't wait to be streaming, that, and we've talked about that. And, there's pros and cons of so many ways of approaching. And I appreciate, because when I started with a lot of you guys, I was going by, Jeffrey all the time, and I still do. You guys are my friends, a lot of you. And if you know me by Jeffrey, please I don't care what people call me. I think it's a joke. And I may have a little bit of a running joke about it on my videos when I do this. I don't care. The end of the day though, I dropped Drum Up Studio, and that was a tough decision for me. It was getting branded and doing things. And this is one of the reasons that I look at John's things and I think how amazing for him, because I think the work so encapsulates you. It's so perfectly you, like it's a home run.
It is unbelievable how much it was me.
Yeah.
And that's only because I think Chris knows me so well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If you have somebody that can brand you, that knows you, I mean, pros are pros, but it's just really helps to have that connection. I did my own branding, and that's really tough, I think, to do your own stuff because you're so too closely tied to it sometimes. But I ended up going my name, and I have had discussions with you about the pros and cons.
Yeah.
And there are pros and cons. Now, I'm not going to get into all that, but it was a tough decision for me. But when I saw this wonderful branding, I said to my wife, look at this stuff. Like, this is amazing. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm just happy for you. Whatever,
Thank you.
It's not what I don't have. It's what you have worked for and you deserve. And I'm really happy for you because I can tell how happy you are. And that makes me happy because my good buddy is happy. And I think that's,
I appreciate that. And really it was something that I just reached out to him and asked him if he'd do it, because he's got experience in print work and ad work, owned his own business and worked in New York City, for almost 30 years. So
you can see it when you showed me the mock-ups. I'm like, I've seen enough mock-ups. This guy's not messing around. Okay. He's talented. He understands what he's doing. And I just like, I could see where it's going. I was just so happy because that's where it needs to be.
It is unbelievable because when I was trying my own stuff, I was using the circuit board as the background. So it's almost like when I saw that, my jaw dropped, but that he even went there with it. I couldn't believe it. And then he put it in the coffee too. It's like,
just so perfect. Yeah. So I'm with you, Lala. I can't wait to get my coffee cup. And I think that's where I went right away. Like, I can't wait. Like, I love having my cup, but to have my own one of these here, someday I'll have one of my own, but right now it's not a concern of mine. And I just think it really works with somebody who has a channel called Coffee Talking Tech. I just think, how perfect is this? Yeah. Right.
It's awesome.
Come on.
And Spreadshirt makes it so easy anyway, right? Because I don't have to carry anything myself. I just set up the shop and
they do everything. They print it and they ship it.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I put the link in my video, and if you click on the shop, you can go through the stuff. It's as simple as that. It's
fantastic. Oh, here we go. Streaming Buddy membership perk. I'm just saying, these people are too smart. And look, you're going to be the black sheep of the Streaming Buddy family. I get it. This is not something you're going to put your arms around and just love up, but you're going to have to begrudgingly show up at the table and hold our hands. It's just
just a hint. I was looking at Samantha's shirts too. on her site. She has one that caught my eye that I like, but it wasn't available at the time.
Good night, John. Thanks for stopping in, man. I really
Take care,
appreciate
John.
it.
Have a good night.
Kind words. Have a good night, man. Great stream today too, by the way. I was very interested on your live stream today about how to cut up the lives. I thought that was very useful information. So thanks for that, and have a good night, man.
Yeah, she has this shirt that says something like, I don't know, it was like kind of cool about broken but then fixed or something, and the words say okay in the middle are white, and so she's saying, I'm broken but I'm on my way to getting better and I'm okay. And so she had this shirt and I like it. It's pretty cool. My wife liked it too, by the way.
I think that's why there's such a warm feeling. We just met Zan, recently, and of course Samantha's been around. You've known her before I did. Obviously, you guys knew each other. You've helped her, and you guys have a nice relationship. And when you have people like that who understand life can be very difficult, but they have such a spin on it to take it and then help others with it, that's infectious. So just saying, I'm grateful to have those people around. That's all.
It's funny you say that, because I was thinking the same exact thing, because I was again listening to her stream this past week, because it was kind of like she usually has like a content that she talks about, but this week was just about her setup. And then she went into it saying that, if I can help you in any way, if there's a couple people that come forward and I know they need help, I'll help you. And so our help moving forward, it puts a smile on people's faces and saying, hey, there are people out there that will help me. And then they're moving forward and helping other people to give them the information that maybe we gave them or they found out along the way. And it just, like you said, it's infectious.
It is infectious. And it's interesting, as I sit back and I listen to you talk about helping and I know a lot of people talk about this stuff, but there's talk and there's walk. And what I like is I can tell you there's been a lot of walk here on the end of helping people present their things in different ways or get through problems with gear, whatever. But there's also been people that have helped each other. And this is a very psychological, we can try to run from it all we want, but being a content streamer, going live, going with videos day in, and that pressure of making that happen is a huge psychological overhead. And we can't run from that. And so we might as well talk about it. We might as well also help each other. And the tools, there are tools, whether they're productivity tools, efficiency tools, or meditation tools, or dealing with positivity. I don't know. There's many tools, but however you do that, I think it's really important to make sure that, we talk about tech, but there is an inner tech that needs attention as well. And I like talking about that. So if anybody, I'm glad people came in tonight and talked about that. And, I don't mind, Lala, if you have any gear questions before I wrap up soon, let me know. I'm pretty much thinking we will wrap up here pretty quick, but if anybody has any final questions, or John, do you have any final
I was just going to say, I agree with you, because not only are we working with the physicality of everything, the mentality is another concept. When you go into this and you start it, it's a little bit like fun. It's all fun.
Right,
Everything's fun because it's new. But then the minute you start thinking seriously about a possibility of becoming monetized, then you have to put a strategy together.
Or you get that first dislike.
Right. Or you get that first dislike. Or anything like that. Yeah. But it's, when you put a strategy together, and that's what I think Jeffrey's doing more than even I did, is he's trying to put this big strategy together. So this way he doesn't fight the things that are going to fight him. And he's actually being proactive about them now. So things roll smoother. And I didn't really do that.
It will be an interesting, I don't want to say an experiment. It will be an interesting contrast and compare that we both can go down. And I bet we'll find a way for us to create a video on the pros and cons. We'll probably do a video together. We should do one on the pros and cons of setup this way, just jumping in and setting up a little bit of a strategy. Cause I've had a little bit of a buffer because, we've done the lives. That's bought me some time, but but now there's a fine line between setting up too much strategy or taking too long to whatever. And I'm aware of that. But I'm fine with it. I'm right on that cusp, and I know where I'm at in myself. So I'm not dodging this thing. I'm I know that I there's no more room for me to maneuver. I have to whatever. It'll be interesting to compare and contrast,
But there's a
the
lot of
different
data,
journeys.
right? It's there's just a lot of data, like even to the point
Yeah.
what I do. This may seem funny, but for weeks that you've been streaming, I've gone over and not gone over a couple days before, and I've always gone on after our stream and watched it.
Right.
And so today, I just happened to go over to your page, and I noticed that your upcoming live streams weren't there. And I
Yep.
said, yo, where's your upcoming live stream? And then it coincided with what a couple people were saying is they couldn't find it.
Yep.
And it just clicked in my head, and that's why I sent the message to you. But it's like, there are so many things going through Jeffrey's head that I know, like he's got to figure out how to use this to film and do this. And he's setting up a studio and he's doing his Notion and he's getting his whole thing set up. And it's like, sometimes you don't even realize it. Right in front of your face, you have your YouTube channel. And I went months without setting it up properly too. So it looks so much better. But
and it's
simple things.
It's such a great catch. I have been on that channel to tweak this and that endless times. And it's not like I haven't figured out what's going on in the back end. And yet I never clicked on me. It did click on me because I had no videos. And then as time, you start getting that and you start getting people to go, you start having comments like that, but it wasn't clicking with me.
Right.
And only an experienced person generally would click. And it did. And I was so glad you did that because it just made it looks better. It feels better. And so that's I love that. It's a kind of an inner thing, but that was great. It was fun. It was fun to get that information and see the change in what I was doing. So I appreciate it.
Well, I think I didn't notice it until I did that, until I did my first live stream. And then I realized that there's a section that it pops up and tells people that it's coming. And I was like, oh, I got to set that up. And so that's when I caught it.
Little things. There's a million things. And when I jump into things, I kind of want to get them set to a certain point where I don't have to keep developing too hardcore. There's a certain level of like, I'm doing this. I keep talking about Notion. Well, I'm at that level today. And through the weekend, I really spent some time. I got it to a point where it's like, it ain't perfect, but it can go on. It can be let loose. And that's where you have to be. It's not about perfection. It's about, it's good enough.
You got to let yourself go.
Right. You got to let yourself go. And while I was doing all that, I was waiting for some extra little lights and things to come in that I wanted for another area. Got to let it go. And so I'm just, look, I had my path. I feel good about it. But it'll be interesting to see now that I start doing things, I feel better about it. I just feel better about having my storage and my planning tools and maybe.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just don't think that most people would be able to set that up beforehand. They wouldn't think of that in depth of things. Cause like when I started, it was a whim, but I think right now it wasn't so much a whim for you. I think it was like, I know I'm going to do this and this is how I want to put it in order.
Yeah. And I think I have I don't want to say an advantage, but I've never worked for anybody since I got out of college. I got my business degrees, got out and said, what am I doing? I'm not going to work in an office. I never did. I've never worked for anybody. And I've been a freelancer since I got out of college. Now, believe me, that's not all unicorns and roses. The point being is over the years in different businesses, you learn there's a little preemptive strike is always a little bit better on the back end. And you're right. I knew at some point, oh, I'm going to do this. This is fine. And then I decided, well, I'm going to use the tools and the process that I know. It's just a little bit of a setup. And I was getting a little flack from some people. They're saying, no, just go live. I'm like, I respect that. If people want to just hit and go live, that makes a lot of sense for them. And it's been done and very well. I can't argue it. Right. But for me, I can see 3 months down the road going, this is just going to burn me out if I don't have a little bit more control of my data. And my process. That's just the way I work. And
because it's not that you'll struggle with the physical part of it. You're going to struggle with the mental preparation. And because being scatterbrained is a wasteful amount of energy. So
Yeah. And
For me, at
so
least, that's the way I look at it, because when you're constantly rethinking things over in your head instead of really getting the stuff down on paper or in a Notion program or anything like that, you're going through it again and again in your head, and it's wasteful energy, and it could be utilized so much better.
it is. And so Brian's asking a question, and that I actually have an answer for. And I don't know if I can bring this up. Let me see if I can. I just want to share this quick. I won't
Sure.
dip into this too deep because I don't want to bore the hell out of anybody, but I can share. So I can do a share screen. I'm going to do a little deal here. Yep, do like this, and then I'll do a window. Here we go. So what you ask, how long? So here's, I don't know. This I can go a little wider on this. It's a huge ass screen, so it always does some weird stuff. So technically, these are my live streams, and this is our live streams, and you can see we have per channel. We share this. Now tonight, this will be changed to completed. And I have an idea sheet that we're working off of under here. It's a different look of the same thing called live stream ideas. And I don't have a whole bunch of them in here, but I need to fill this up. I do have them written down in my bullet journal. I need to move them over here. And so what you want to do is add a bunch of those. And then what I'm going to do is pick from those like tomorrow to stay ahead of it, because I was doing it, Brian, the same day. I mean, John was basically saying, where's your thumbnail? What are you doing? And he wasn't wrong. It would be Monday or Tuesday morning, and I didn't have anything up because I was just scattered trying to get like things together. It's such a process. And now last week, I actually got it up on Friday because I was using this tool for the first time. And so once I commit to this will be what I do, and I schedule it for next week, the 22nd, I create that sheet now creates, and I just put my thumbnail in there, and I start going down to discussion points like I had for tonight, and I create a little bit of a support document that helps me. I need to have stuff in front of me. We won't cover 90% of that stuff, but it helps me. And then what happens is I can then go, I something come up. I can use that page as reference for the research I did on this stuff.
Right.
So I'm trying to create a little mini wiki and an inner wiki. And that's what I'm actually creating right now, is a wiki that will work with everything from projects to live streaming to videos. So I can have an in-house database. I don't want to have to be constantly having to go onto 10 different websites to look for stuff. But to your point, I would like to already tomorrow morning at coffee, I want to pick out of a list of 10 ideas for live streaming, and I want to just dump it as the next planned one in development. And then by Friday morning, I'll know what it is, and I'll create a simple thumbnail template and go.
That's great. Yeah, exactly.
For me, that's how I'm going to keep my sanity. And then I'll do the same thing. John will do the same thing with our video production, where we can plan out for months if we want. Over time, we can plan out probably for months or weeks how we can do this.
Yeah.
With ideas.
I think eventually I want to get 2 weeks ahead, like always.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is like 2 weeks ahead. So this way, if there's any interest, it can get, brought in, and why not? Because the longer it's sitting out there, that something might catch someone's eye, the longer then they can go and just hit, waiting. I want to, or get a notification about it, so.
Oh, I'm glad it's helpful. I always feel like if I have to rush through something this weird, that it's kind of hard to explain, or I don't explain it well, but over time I will grab that together. And what I want to do is create little pods of like how you start from nothing and then build on that. I'm going to do a sample idea of this. Maybe it's the video editing for content creators, and just slowly build on. Now, some other people have done it, like Thomas Frank and Ali Abdal. Those guys have kind of taken variations. I don't care. I'm going to do my variation of it and do it so where people can understand it, because it's not easy to understand. Yeah, I saw you said you went into Notion. It sounded like this has some teeth for you. I think a lot of people will, but the problem with it is it's so powerful, it overwhelms people. And so it needs to be calmed down. And we need to have some video chains that work in small, like Legos, till we build something that we can see and use, not something that's just thrown at people at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's going to be a work in progress.
And the whole thing is, if it can be slowed down and explained and people can use a piece of it, you'll pick up on it really fast. It's just that if you're trying to watch a video and some guy's throwing out, here's my ultimate task list in Notion, you're gonna be like, brother,
Yeah.
you were just losing. You lost me here.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. So, and I'm hip to that. It's just that I don't want to bore everybody with the idea. But the concept is easy. You have idea bucket. You decide on what you want. You move one item, schedule it, move on, and constantly have your bucket in play. I think that's the way.
That's what our new T-shirt's going to be.
Bucket play.
Keep your bucket in play.
Keep your bucket full.
Keep your bucket in play.
Keep your bucket in play. I don't know if I like that.
Just mine's going to say with an exclamation point, bucket.
Bucket. How full is your? How's your bucket?
Just bucket. That's all mine's going to say.
Bucket.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like it. But we need something that's got like.
It's going to be a bucket on there.
Huh?
There'll be a bucket on there.
No. The bucket's good, but as a content creator, like
bucket.
Okay, I'm guessing we got a bucket on the shirt, John. Okay, so we
say
agree there's
bucket.
a bucket.
If you can't duck it, bucket.
There, that's what we need to do. No, I'm with you. We're gonna. You can't bucket. What'd you say?
If you can't duck it, bucket.
I know where
duck. That's a duct tape joke.
That's true. Well, that'd be cool to have a bucket, and there's a hole, but there's duct tape over the hole, and then the content is in the bucket, but it was coming out the hole, right? But we duct taped over it, and now our bucket is full.
It's really deep.
Dude, there are no wrong ideas. Okay, this bucket.
Definitely, that was brilliant.
Streaming buckets doesn't have that ring. It just doesn't.
No.
We need to have. You know what? You just sit this one out, John. Let me handle.
No, Jeffrey. Bucket. See, that's all I have to say. Bucket.
That makes me laugh. Okay, I'm fine with the bucket, but streaming buddy buckets. Nah, I don't like it. I do like the buckets. It's a separate item, but the streaming buddies is going to be a different thing. We're going to work on that. We're going to develop it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be beautiful. But yeah, the only thing I ask on the bucket is it has to have something so people understand it's related to content or being a YouTuber or something.
Is your bucket half full or half empty?
Is your bucket dry?
Does your bucket have a crack in the side? Did your handle break off when you were spinning the sand inside and it ruined your day?
That's really long. That is too long for a shirt. You'd be ripening around.
You know what? Bucket.
I think we're back to just bucket. Streaming babies over here. It's a separate item. Then we got bucket question mark. It's all in the design, John. It's not words.
We're going to bring in a different type of people with that kind of stuff.
Are we?
Yeah, we're going to draw people a little different.
Is that a bad thing?
Bucket.
Bucket. Okay, bucket. 5-gallon Notion. I like that.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not bad actually. I got a
Put the Notion in a bucket.
I got a 5. Is it a 5? Is it a 10-gallon hat? What's the cowboy has? A 5-gallon or 10-gallon? I'm gonna have a hat. It's gonna be a Notion like full. It's gonna be Notion. Yeah, it's gonna
10-gallon hat.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Or I turn the hat upside down and that's my bucket and it's got my brains in there. It's all Notion. I don't know.
Brains.
We got some good ideas here. We're gonna cultivate. We're gonna make it happen. So we're gonna end. I appreciate it. I think we've got the bucket figured out. The streaming buddies, Brian, as always. First of all, thank you for being here. Second of all, your questions always are on target. I love that. And of course, the support is amazing. And
Thanks,
do need
Brian.
to talk. Yeah, seriously.
Congratulations again, bro. That's
on the Emmys, awesome. I don't care
super proud of.
That's super proud. You should be super proud. And tomorrow, I'll make a request that tomorrow you do at least a stream on the group, and you have your 7 dusty old Emmys off of the table, looking, the tired, and then you have the new one, and you announce to everybody in that group that you won that 8th damn Emmy. And hey, I'm just letting you guys know I won the Emmy. I want to see that live stream. That would be really awesome, man. I would love that.
I think you should put the live stream on his on YouTube.
Oh, that's true too. Right. Yeah. 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 You're right. Take it a step further. You know,
Just go
why
for the
not?
gusto.
Go for the gusto, man. I mean, that's a if I won an Emmy, man, that'd be the first thing I put up on my YouTube is like, and I would do it that way, like, oh, these 7 were fine, guys.
Right.
Welcome to the
Get your
channel.
speech out.
I'm Brian Paul, and I'm doing my little trailer video. Welcome, and yeah, I've got 7, but here's the thing: I got an 8th one, and I told myself when I got the 8th one, I'd get on this YouTube channel. So
I'm not stopping till I reach 10.
I'm not stopping until I reach 10. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see
Right.
you in the next intro. Yeah, it's
That's
done.
it.
All right, that's it.
That's it.
Shit. 15,000 subscribers. Right away.
You know what I got to do?
What's this?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I'm broken. Oh.
And see the okay in the middle?
Yeah, I see it.
Then she highlights it.
Yep. See, I love that stuff. I wish I was smart enough to come up with it. But when I see
like
stuff
that
like that stuff just sticks with you, right?
Yeah, my wife liked it too. She was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I was wondering what she was going to say. My wife was like looking, and then she was like, "I like that shirt." I was like, "So do I."
Samantha, are these? They're not only women's shirts, right? Do you know?
Well, I don't know. I was looking for one because I was going to be like, "Oh, that would be cool."
No, I would get
wear
one.
it.
That's why I was asking, and I got to check out the merch. But I was wondering, my wife would wear one. But I just was wondering if men can wear. If she had men's shirts, she'll answer. I can also head over there. It's not like I can't get to the channel.
Some men don't like to wear some unbroken.
I don't care. I love it. I wear my anxiety and depression openly, not to be victimized.
I'm not talking about that.
What?
I don't care. Like that's fine. People can be upfront with their whatever.
Well, some people they do wear it though. Some people like wear that a little bit too much like a band.
People wear everything.
Well, that's true.
You know,
Mr. Doma, how you doing?
This guy games. Can we just talk about that's just fun stuff? Gaming's fun.
It is fun. It is
fun. Do gamers get depressed?
Yes, very. In fact,
they do.
I dived into Twitch a year ago. I mentioned that when things went with COVID, and I quickly started following the typical guys. And one was Summit 1G, who I still follow today, and I do probably my favorite streamer. And well, even Dr. Disrespect, same thing. Some of these big guys, and then a million others. But let's just take Summit 1G, a guy who was killing it and literally had to take a year off. This guy mentally was absolutely losing it, punching monitors out. Like he was having no fun. He was like, he literally punched his monitor. I was like, but the biggest thing is he was depressed. He was having no fun. And this guy always had fun. And it was ruining him. And because what was happening is to make the money, he was having to play games that he thought people had to play. He didn't enjoy them.
Yeah. He was mad because Twitch was taking his money away.
Well, what he was mad was I got to play these stupid damn games for people that I don't want to play in order to make money. And people were telling me what to play. And what he did is he came back, just an old story. He came back and said, I'm going to play what I want to play. And the first game out was a game that I got into called Sea of Thieves. And he made Sea of Thieves. Like this guy is amazing at it, but his attitude, the way he played it, he changed the game. He made them a new game into something that it was never going to be. And so now he only plays things that he enjoys, and he's doing great, and he's doing it his way. And
that's a good story for about just like what anyone's doing as far as anything.
I agree. Like, that's kind of why I picked up on it, because it is.
Oh, right? You thought of that. Thanks.
No, I just meant it's universal.
Sorry, I was being so obvious.
No, I'm just. I like the fact that you're backing that up, though. I think
it's true, though. I mean, you got to do what you enjoy and what you like, because then you're going to burnt out and you're going to hate what you're doing. You get trapped up into the whole thought process of like, this is going to take me to the next level. But when you get there and then you don't like where you are, then what's it really worth?
Night, Brian. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Bye, Brian.
It's absolutely true.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. Very, very nice words. And it's great to see you. And
thanks for popping in our streams and just saying hi. We love that.
That's a great way to kind of wrap up here in a second. And I just want to say that you have to do what you really do enjoy and are interested in. This is a dead end. Like, you're done, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing. And
it doesn't matter.
Or content or anything in life. You got to do what you love to do if you want it to progress. So I like those kind of stories. They do stick with me.
I mean, I could make a Blue Yeti video. No, you know what I mean though? Like if you wanna get like to
Like
a point.
but one you like, I'm just saying, like one where you want to talk about how great it is, or are you talking about one that's all encompassing?
No, I'm just talking about you can make videos that will get views.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. But if you want to utilize other aspects just to get views, does that really make you so authentic? Does it make you really the person you want to be? Maybe it does. Maybe
Well,
using other people's travels will get you to a point and you like that. But
yeah,
other people don't feel that way.
No, and you know, it was put to me years ago in a musician where what happens often is you have over time different like uh, themes that come through. Like there's this style and then this style, and then one year there was the Mumford and Sons style where everybody's trying to do, you know, and then there's this, you know what I'm talking about? Like, and everybody tries to chase that for a minute because that's popular. But by the time you start to chase that, that's fine with your industry. If you try to chase that, you're not industry, you're already too late.
Yep.
And what happens is if you start chasing all these different hot styles, you just become nothing but a moving target that never gets hit. And so beyond the fact that you're not even passionate about what you're doing, you're not staying in a lane where eventually something can hit you. You're just constantly jumping all over the place and you're like strafing.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. I mean, only you can answer that anyway, right? So like if you're okay, I mean, there's plenty of people that do reaction videos.
Yeah. But you have to love doing reaction videos.
You have to love it and you got to be good at it. But I feel like you're practically using someone else's video.
Well, we see that I think it's a cheap, lazy way. Others see it as major entertainment, I suppose. I think it skirts a line, but whatever.
I think it depends what you're trying to do. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, I guess if you want to get monetized, I should think more like that. You know, who knows?
And you can, and that's the argument they'll throw at you. Well, I'm monetized and you're not. And it's like, okay, but you don't love it and you didn't create anything new here. So that's be my argument. But look, you can,
how much you helping people really? I don't know.
But well, and then the question is, what is your particular value system that speaks to you? Do you care about helping others? Is that really where you are and venturing in? Because for me, as I looked at my channel today, I'm like, what are you about? And just reemphasizing it, I realized that the channel is going to evolve like a human because I'm human. And because I truly want to help people means I have to learn all the time. Right. So things are going to evolve on the channel. That's just the way it is. And I'm not going to fight that. I'm going to embrace that evolution and talk about that and say, yeah, my channel was going to change over time. I don't care. And if that messes with the algorithms and stuff, that's fine. I don't mean like massively, like I'm not going to be doing like knitting one day.
Right.
I'm just saying.
No, but I think when you're new, you're gonna go like we had that discussion already about niching down. People are gonna say, "Oh, niche down so hard." I think it's a calculated niche. You know, like get to a point where you have still 7 variables or several variables that you can take things, and then from there. There are other ways to niche down. Like I think for the first time you saw in my banner where I actually put, helping YouTubers and streamers.
I did see that. And
that's a big step for me.
It's a big step for you. It really hammered home, I think, an evolution for you. Like it hit a milestone in your development. And I went, oh my God, that's just a big milestone because it really put a brick.
Yeah. And you froze.
I did. You want to know why?
Because you smashed your table so hard that you
it's exactly
cut the internet off.
Jesus. Am I back on yet or no?
Yes.
So but again, I stood back and I went, oh, I really like that. I'm so far away from that. But then that's a dangerous game. And I immediately pulled out of that going, this is not, first of all, it's not about you, Jeffrey. Second of all, your journey's different. John forged his brick his way, and you'll find your way. And that's a game we got to stay away from.
It may not be different, and it may be the same, or it may be a different twist. So, like, but it doesn't matter.
This comparison thing about and not comparison like on someone's better, but a comparison of it's a litmus test to say, oh, where am I at compared to another person? This is such a dangerous game. And this is where people start to get into bad anxiety and depression. We can't do that.
You can't do that.
You got to stay inside your lane on that. And I found that the healthiest thing for me at that moment, if anybody can take anything away from that, was to say, no, just be happy. Because there's something about generally being happy for someone that you care for, seeing them succeed that makes you do feel better. And then immediately I felt better about where I was at. You got to be aware, I guess.
I think being aware is important because it gives you a reality of whether or not you're making progress. You can't if you're wondering why you're not getting any more views than 100, and it's like every week it keeps on going like that, and you can't catch on to the reasons why. And that's why when I went into the analytics the one day, it was overwhelming for people. But the truth of the matter is people didn't even understand what I was talking about. And it was you need to be able to look at those things and say, how can I improve? And I think until you can do more of that type of stuff, it's going to be a slower progress than really being able to understand right off how you can improve, because your look can improve, right? Your banner can improve, and it all gets you to a certain place a little bit quicker, hopefully, right? But but your content is really important. And I'm definitely, super new at that. And I'm just not happy with the way I put things together sometimes. I feel like sometimes after I do the video and the video comes out, I just don't feel like it's not even a full grasp of the thing I was trying to get across, and so I need to be more organized.
Well, and this is what we're working on. And I think this was meant to be for a variety of reasons. And I think that we're going to come out stronger, and then we can help other people with the same thing, kind of cut through a lot of the minutia to move, because that's ultimately what we want to do, is to find not shortcuts, but efficiencies in steps and ways to alleviate some of the pressure points that really are built up because we're not thinking ahead. We're just stuck in quicksand trying to do the same thing.
Just trying to go every week with a new idea and not really hone things and
tell you,
shape and mold them.
I didn't really, because we haven't talked, how freeing it was. I said to you last week, I wanted to have my thumbnail done by Friday. And I sat down on Wednesday and I went, I don't really have an idea. And I thought, well, pull up your bucket. Because and it was so freeing to go, and I picked one. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so great, because we have so many great ideas in the shower or wherever. And then if we do utilize that and put the stuff actually in the bucket, when we actually need it, it's not when we're going to have our best ideas. And so to be able to sit down and review those best ideas and go, oh my God, this was a great idea. This seems pertinent now for some reason. And that's what it was. I slid it over. It was easy. Like, I'm like, oh my God, that's what I want for us. And I want for other people. Because it is really rough to kind of do it cold, and then it's a slippery slope. And I also think that, you stepping away and doing live, which you enjoy so much, you've had so much time to talk about the things you didn't like about your other videos and learn some other things that I think by the time you do shortly here track back, it's going to be such a better process.
Well, that's the idea, hopefully. I mean, because there are glimpses of the videos that I feel like I'm like, wow, I really like the way that was put together. And I just feel like I really need to strive to not make a video just to make one. But in the whole grand scheme of things, I'm so new. It really didn't matter, because every video I made also helped me improve in some aspect of it, be it the audio, be it the camera or whatever. It may not be like as perfect as I wanted it to come out, but the efforts to keep on doing those things are important. And so it keeps my skills decent by streaming, because we're working with the cameras and setting things up, and and you're getting your audio down and stuff and switching the mics,
audio, just everything has been just sharpened by doing, and then you get to know people, and
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, and so I'm going to keep on getting better. But it's just I think you just I don't know. I just, I definitely am realistic about what I think is good. So, and then sometimes,
you have a vision, and that's good. Sometimes my vision is just a little bit like it's a little wiggly. I think it's good to have a vision, but then you can kind of wrap yourself up a little bit into expectations or other feelings.
well,
Like
you
there is
can't,
no
right? You can't go. That's what I'm saying. Like when people look at certain things, they get so overwhelmed that they feel they can't look at them. But listen, if you ignore things and signs, okay, and numbers, it's only going to bite you in the butt later on. So,
well, in the case of the analytics, I think there are a lot of reasons why people kind of shied away and didn't really maybe kind of looked away. And I think part of it is overwhelming. They don't understand it, and they just want to put content out. And then there's a subset of group of people that go, on a psychological level, I don't want to have to look at that because it's not going to tell me what I really want to hear. And so it becomes a little bit of a psychological thing when you're just trying to say that all may be true, but you need to in order to get where you want to go. And that's, we got to get past that. And we have to find a way to crack that code with people so they can sit down and go, I'm not comfortable for whatever reason, but I know I need to do this so I can get where I want to be. There is no other way in my world of preparation, whether you're using Notion or whatever, however you do it. I just don't think you can be very creative if you're spending so much overhead trying to retain information and trying to develop it. I just think that by the time you sit down to do any content creation, I don't know how the hell you're doing it because my mind would be.
Yeah. Plus, because also with tech, things change so fast too. So if you're talking about something that was 6 months ago, it may not even be relevant with we're talking about right now. I mean,
well, I'm going to be hitting the pavement here in basically hours and doing stuff. So it'd be interesting to see over the next few weeks when the tires hit the pavement. It's of course not going to go exactly like I planned, but we'll get everything together and straighten her out. And
as long as they get the grip, as long as they get a little traction
and stay out of the gravel, I'm happy. And we all know it's going to be a little bit of the serpentine. I don't care. The question is, over time, can we smooth that out a little bit into a straight line? I think we can.
Yeah.
That's not going to get rid of bumps and some of the dips. That's always going to exist in our life because real life can be a pain.
Yeah, but that's a fine. I mean, that's to be expected.
Right.
Plus, if you don't have those things, it's like you don't even understand when things are working well and you got to be able to go out there and bang problems out. You can't if you didn't have any problems, you don't have any reactions to the problems. Like the other week you had an issue with your mic, right? It fell off the side or whatever. And you didn't get panicky. You came back in, and it's like, you need to go through those steps because when it does happen, your heart starts racing. Like, is my stream messed up? And so you get the full gist of things.
Turns out you just got to get the old USB meteor and plug her in and make sure you go to the control panel and set that.
Yeah. So that's a hint to just have a backup mic, right? That's
there was
USB
a key.
Mic.
There was a key. Is refresh your StreamYard.
Yes.
Tab. That was we would have been in like 2 minutes. But what choked us was the StreamYard the tab wouldn't let go of the device.
Of the old mic. Yeah.
So then a simple refresh of that tab.
That's it.
Get it, but
But then you're kind of nervous too because you're like, am I going to lose my stream? Yep. You never, you know what I mean? Because that's all going through your head. It's all new. So
hey, slow it down, have a good time. This has been a wonderful conversation tonight on so many levels. I really appreciate it.
We always have a good conversation.
We do. It's been wonderful and not a problem, Patrick. We're heading out.
Oh, there he is.
It's always good to see you. You should never apologize because you've already stepped in to say hi to us, which is once you say hi, I think everything else is cherry.
Yeah.
So you never have to apologize. And I don't know. I always feel better when I say goodnight than when I started. I always
what my wife brought up the other day?
What's that?
She was talking and she brought it up. I didn't even bring it up. She's like, what if like some point, maybe at the end of the summer where everybody's going to be in a lot better mood and things are, a lot better in general, because we're going in the right direction with everything. And she's like, see if we want to have some people over for a barbecue and come and visit. And even if somebody wants to stay over, this and that. So we got Eric and we got Patrick down in Philly. We got, you know, we got
the
me.
ringers.
If
I
you come in,
I can get to New Jersey, not a problem. That's not a problem.
that's what I'm saying. If you get into New Jersey, like say it's a gig weekend or anything like that, or
Yeah.
something where we can have 5 or 6 of us get together, that would be a blast.
Might work out anyway because I'm supposed to go. On a side note, I got calls about a week ago, and we weren't supposed to have any gigs set up for the summer because of the stuff. And now everything's just cracking open. They're like, "Hey, we got gigs this summer, leading up to some stuff in the fall and some theaters now." Even I'm like, in New York, and I'm like, I'm not prepared. Not, I mean, I could play the gigs. It's not the issue. I've been playing with these people for 20 years.
Right.
But look, I mean, I've got some projects going on and some other personal things. I'm like, I'll see you guys later in the summer. So, but after that, I'll be coming out there quite a bit. So that could actually work out. So, you know, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I thought that was cool.
This is what I wanted to know.
That's exactly what
I said. He's going to have that 300 by the time we get off.
That's awesome.
I just wish I knew who did it because that's such a great thing. Somebody went.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Maybe he knows though. Maybe he saw it, but that's amazing. I'm really happy. You know, now you got to do your live, bro. So, you know, we'll be seeing that announcement coming right on the notification soon.
Yeah. It's cool seeing the people we know just getting a little bit more, you know, a little bit more videos out, a little bit the new to streaming, whatever. It's all great
300 stuff. Seems so far away to me. Like I'm trying to get 50 right now. Now I have not one video other than live streams out. So I'm grateful for what I have, but I don't know. When you were sitting at 50, did it just seem like, Jesus, 100? This is going to take forever. Or did you get to 100 pretty quick?
Feels like a million years ago. No, remember I told you I was at like 46 or something, and then I just went into my Facebook and I did a plug for my birthday, and then that got me to like, I think that got me to like 82.
Oh, dude, my birthday is in April though. I'd have to wait till.
I don't know. I just did it, and then you saw I went on my personal Facebook today and just said if there's anybody out there that's, you know, willing to support me and that's a friend of mine.
Well, that was wonderful. And first of all, I want to just say one thing here, Patrick. You don't need to thank us because the truth of it is you support us so much on these streams that I feel like we should be sending 10 people your way like every week. So thank you.
It all works both ways.
Yeah, it does work both ways. It's a symbiotic relationship, but still. Good night. Thank you for hanging. Yeah, we should have been off probably an hour ago, but we just love talking to ourselves.
We always like talking.
And we like seeing you guys pop in, and I can never get enough. You know what though, John? I will get to a point where I'm going to go into my places and say, yeah, when you did that, you must have had a couple videos out already though that you.
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I did.
I wanted to wait till I had some actual vids out before I think
once you do a couple of vids, then you go out to your regular friends, you know.
I know I can get a bunch. I just feel like I need to offer up more than what I am right now. Let's just check this out here. I'm at 398 and pushing for. Oh, somebody get over there. I'm sure everybody here is probably subscribe.
Yeah. You know what? Always just don't listen. It's all not all, and we don't say this enough, but it's not always about the subscribers too. It's definitely just, I mean, the subscribers are great. You're going to need them sooner or later, no matter what, but just keep on looking at everything you're doing and try to put the dots together of the reasons why certain videos are doing better. And then make sure, you know, because it's a long stretch, bro, to 4,000 hours.
It is
it's a long stretch. And if people, you could have the subscribers, but if they're not watching your content at all.
I think that's where I really kicked around the idea of going, I don't want to do that. I mean, I just want people that are going to be there because they want to be there. And yes, it's not going to hurt that they're there, but I kind of want people that are going to be there to watch the hours. That's really all I care about. And maybe that was my way of saying, nah, man, just do the content and get it that way. Cause that's the carrot stick that's going to force you into it. I don't
listen, there's a fine balance though, too, because you can have a couple of videos. You can literally have just like all of a sudden out of the blue, one of these videos start taking off after 2 months, you know, and then all of a sudden you're finding yourself close at the end of the year with some hours, you know, like I have a very good chance of being 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And you don't even know, like you could totally bump something you could just take off and it set you over the edge. And I think that's the thing. And I know that, and I know that the way to do that is to have as many vids as you can, as somebody said, you know, that's that that whole thing about making a few good quality pots or clay pots or making a ton. And they did a whole thing on this, like a whole study on it. And it turned out the best ones always came from the volume.
Right.
The top 3 always came from the volume, not the people who spent the longest time, but then they had all these extra ones to sell. So I think there's a great story in that. And that's something that I've taken to heart.
That's a whole nother talk, right? I mean, I think we can get into that whole day.
We'll save that. I think we'll put that up on the live stream.
That could be in the Notion, actually.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, it's I don't think it hurts by any means, this reaching out to your friends and family. They may not watch. Here, the truth of the matter is, this is a fact. These big YouTubers that may even have 200,000-300,000, a lot of their main videos, there's only like 10% of their subscribers are watching.
Right.
So, but what I'm trying to say is that you need to get 1,000 subscribers. So what if you're getting close to the hours because you have a video or two that takes off and now you don't have the subscribers? I mean, you got the hours, which is the hard part, and now you're stuck on subscribers. So, yeah, I mean, it is a fine line. That's why I say you need subscribers no matter what, but just keep on trying to drive forward what is taking off. And you might have to figure out those things. We all do, right? Because if I go to my videos, a lot of them are just audio driven, and those were some of the best. And then I have one good camera, but it's like, you know, you'll figure it out. I mean, but we're all new. So
I already put it into the idea thing, because I think
into Notion.
I do, because I think it'll be that's a really good topic to talk on. It's a little bit out there as far as, again, we make a lot of videos or just quality videos, and I've seen some pretty interesting discussions on that. And I think we should have that with our people. I think that would be a fun conversation.
Yeah, I think that we always talk about subscribers anyway, you know?
Yeah.
And we don't really talk about the other 4,000 hours because, my God, it's daunting.
It's a lot of hours in YouTube world, especially when you're starting out. I can't even put my mind to that because it's just too far out. Just like 100 right now, 100 subscribers. And look, you're right. It all plays together. If I go out and go, hey guys, just give me the subscribe numbers, it all plays into some part of the algorithm on some level that may help somewhere.
Right.
Some things in. So it's a great discussion. But
and plus, along the way, some of these people that are your friends, they might find themselves watching it anyway.
They might.
You know, like my friend Vince, he jumps in. He's jumped in 2 or 3 times now into my streams, and that's a high school buddy. Do
you have a topic for Thursday, brother?
No.
Okay.
We're just going to roll. Yeah, I'm going to talk about.
And that's the whole thing. We don't have to have topics. I tend to do that where and I like the fact that I tend to kind of do a topic-y thing. Not that you don't, because you have.
Yeah.
But you do like to get into the mix of free form and Q&A, which I think is amazing. And I like the variety of that. And I don't know I don't think one way or the other matters. I just think it's neat.
I think I'm going to go over a couple of the things that I have gotten the last couple of weeks. So,
that's right. Yeah, you've got some new stuff.
Yeah, so I may not go into, or maybe I will, but I think that's going to be for another week. I'll show an example of it, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and then at least so people know what we're talking about and stuff. Yeah. And then I don't think I'm ready for the example, although I did have the camera set up wirelessly and did use the A10 mini, and the sound was all coming through and everything. So
fantastic.
But I want to get the Rode mic on there, and then I want to hook up the Rode mic, and then plus I got the GoPro 7 coming too. So
you are going to be hooked up, my friend.
Yeah,
that's going to be that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be fun to see that work, and I think it will work really cool.
I think I'm going to be really impressed with the GoPro 7 as a vlogging setup.
I've heard really good things about it, and if you have great success with it, I might do that. I think for the bang for your buck and what it can do, I think that's kind of a good idea. What are they going for now though?
$250.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, and so wait till you see the setup I'm going to have though. So
yeah, I'm going to sit back and wait for what's going on. But I've been hearing about it anyway, and then when you started dipping in and talking about it, I'm like, yeah, now it's kind of hitting home how this could really be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like I could bring 3 batteries with me, right? And you get maybe an hour out of each battery, but that's such a light setup. and you get such a wide angle.
Yeah.
And the only thing I have to do is, and I'll explain this when I get to it, is I have to hook up the special audio connection because you have to use a separate mic. The quality of the audio is not great. So
good at all. So it's an external mic you got to use, right?
yeah. So here's Patrick. Look what he said.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. Love my GoPro 7. Great as an overhead cam too. If you need, yeah, I don't know, man. I keep hearing such for 250. I've been hearing so many solid.
Yeah,
use
that's the black version is 250, which you want to get because it has that hyper stabilization.
I'm just kind of a point where I grab the 6400. I might sit down on a 250 GoPro 7 as another like a vlogging camera. Just use it as some kind of like B-roll or some kind of action roll, because against a 6400, it's just going to give you all sorts of shutter problems on fast speed and goofy stuff. So that's where the GoPro, beyond all the other things you're talking about, how light it is, travel. I don't know, just great.
Yeah, I just want to see what it's like because the ZV-1 is great if you want to get some good quality pictures and some better quality video, but sometimes when you're out in the back, hiking in the woods or this or that, you're like having that light thing where the video is good enough is important. And that thing does the job.
Yes, is my answer to that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to carry even the ZV-1 to really out in the woods most of the time. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's just a better idea. And we're just in a world where the technology is kind of caught up to that. There's no point in, unless you're doing some major cinema type stuff, I just don't think it's worth it.
Plus, Patrick will tell you is the video that I see with the stabilization. It's like they were calling it like a gimbal killer, which this thing is 2 years old already. So that's what's crazy.
He's on to us.
I know. We got to go.
He's on to us.
We should. I got to go to sleep. So.
Yeah, I got to go to sleep too. So, Patrick, thank you for calling us on it. So we stay under that 3 hour. Jesus. I don't know how did we get here? Seriously.
We're really good at talking. That's why.
We got on here. I'm like, dude, I think an hour tonight. We're kind of tired.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
Here we sit at 3 hours, but you know what? Thank you so much, Patrick, and everybody. John, Samantha, everybody. We will see you guys. Well, Thursday at 9:00 Eastern time would be John's channel, and we'll see you soon, Patrick, on your channel. And with that, I guess it's good night to everybody. So, tonight, everybody. Uh-oh, that can't happen. That's bad. That's bad. We gotta fire our production team. Hang on a second. I gotta get this guy and fire him. Left up Patrick's stuff there. And why do we have this? I'm gonna leave the banner thing up, guys. We'll leave that up. Hang on a second. I gotta fire somebody. Good night, everybody.
I see what you're doing to me now. They lie, they steal, they fool us. Deep down, I probably knew that. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger. Love is blind and no